sky was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
Hello, everyone. We are here on a beautiful Thursday night. At least it's beautiful out where I am in the Pacific Northwest. Ready for an awesome SGL Cup Season 7 finale match with Emerald City RC taking on KC Cauldron. My name is Rydog of Timbers Army. I'm joined in the booth by Mr. Palace from Los Verdes. Palace, how we doing?
You know, I would like to say one thing.
Floor is yours.
You people thought you could get rid of me. But you can't. I'm back, baby.
Palace is
Did you
back.
miss me?
He's back.
Who
I sure
tried to
did.
get rid of me? The ops. The ops tried to get rid of me, aka Life. I'm very excited. I feel very privileged to be back in the booth, especially alongside Rydog. And we have another special guest as well. If you would like to reveal yourself to this lovely crowd of people.
It's me, Jessica.
We got Jessica in the booth. I'm just kidding. It's Corn Dog Sean. He's back. Welcome back, Corn Dog.
It's good to be back. I'm excited to see how this goes. This should be a high-powered game, no matter the outcome. But I'm just hoping ECRC doesn't get swept at 8-0.
That would be the hope for all of us. And we'll kind of go through kind of what corn dog means here in a little bit. But to kind of summarize, if you're either new and are just joining us to SGL, first of all, welcome. But let's kind of go over the season as a whole here. We're gonna kick it off. We started off with a league play format. Everybody plays everybody once. And so, as you can see, there's the league table right there. And we had, of course, two of the top three teams here in the final. Who would have predicted that? I don't know. Probably a
Not
lot
me.
of people. Not Palace. So, yeah, you see KC Cauldron there up at the top going 8-1 and winning the regular season, followed by Il Matador. And then, of course, our other finalists as well in ECRC. I'm going to start with Palace and then we'll go to Corndog after. Just kind of overviewing kind of the season. Are there any surprises to this list? Kind of retrospectively, knowing how things played out further down the line, or yeah, Palace, why don't you start?
I'll be honest. I think the surprise package for me of the season was the locals. They were incredible in SGL2 last year, but I wasn't sure how it was going to translate into the combined league with everybody because we have had teams in the past who have excelled in the second division, but when it came to the matchups of the first division, it proved really difficult. Not so with this team. They were ready from day one, and to see them up in fourth place and just doing as well as they did in the cup as well, it surprised me a lot, but in a good way. It made me very happy to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, locals being a powerhouse team, locking in a top four spot in the regular season going onwards. Corn Dog, is there anything looking at this table that surprises you, either positively or negative?
So actually, funny you asked because I have a little bit of both. I was expecting El Matador to get there, and I was looking forward to a KCL Matador final. Um, Not that I'm anti ECRC by any means, but that's my downside that I'm looking at there. El Matador put up a good show. They were always a fun game to watch. But my positive is going to have to be Emerald City Blue coming in as a new team and squeaking out that one win more than loss ratio there, taking number 5 there on the leaderboard as a brand new team, figuring everything out on the fly. I'm not sure they got to play much together, especially in the earlier games. So them finishing up that high was definitely a positive for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had a ton of new teams join us this season for season 7 in the SGL. Of course, we have EC Blue, Timbers Army, my own team, starting up this season, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Defiance, a new team as well, Emerald City Defiance.
Yes, yeah, both of them were new this season.
Yeah, so really awesome to get these guys into the league and play the regular season. But the new teams actually didn't stop there. So this league finished, and then we went into a Swiss style part one, phase one of our postseason play. And so what that looks like here, and this is kind of how it finished out, is every team played 4 games. It's a 4-round Swiss stage, and just kind of a high level overview of how Swiss works is you generally will play teams with your similar record or the same record, and then of course depending on how those results go is how you are seeded going into the next round. And so, as you can see, some similarities and some major differences. Of course, you can see KC Cauldron topping the Swiss stage going 4-0, and of course, Emerald City RC also keeping their 3rd seed, similarly to the league play. But then you see a whole bunch of different teams kind of mixed and mashed and all sorts of stuff going on. Palace, I'm going to ask you the same question about this. Was there anything that kind of surprised you looking at this table and how things kind of shook out to?
Um, I wouldn't say surprise, but something that made me very happy was my team, Los Verdes, clocking a win in here. That made me very, very happy. It did come sorry, Corn Dog. It did come against EC Defiance, who we felt that we had the best chance to beat in the regular season, and we came in here and put on a probably the best performance by a Austin-based team in this league in a long time. So for me, that was my, I wouldn't say my surprise because I knew we had it in us, but it was the moment that the Swiss bracket really came alive for me because we did have some upsets early on, like El Matador losing to Timber's Army in the first. Wait, was it Timber's Army? Yeah.
Yep.
You guys did beat them in that first Swiss game, and then we had to play them because of that result. We had to play them in the second round. So thank you for that, Riot Dog. But after we took 2 against them in that series, I think the light really came on in my head. Like, man, we're better than our record indicates, and we came out and showed that against Defiance. And unfortunately, our run came to an end against the Rebellion, who have been an awesome team to watch. For those of you who don't know, and I know that Rydog mentioned this, but we did have 2 new teams come in for the Swiss stage, which is why you see 12 teams up on here. U Sector of Toronto FC, who has been in this league for a long time, and the Rebellion, the new boys from New England, not the first team to represent New England, but the newest and the best team to represent New England for sure. And so our run came to an end against them, and they have proved that they are here to play, which we'll get to more of that when we get to the bracket. But long story short, my not necessarily my surprise package, but the one that stood out to me obviously was my own team.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, for the viewers who have been here for a while, of course, Los Verdes making a little roster switch, picking up Devin as more of a second man to you, Palace, and I think that made a huge difference in, I'm hoping, confidence, but as well as gameplay. And so that definitely showed towards the latter half of the season. And I can definitely say, as somebody, as an opponent, that you're always scared of Los Verdes because you look at that record going 0-9, right, coming out of the regular season, and you didn't feel like they were 0-9. You felt like they took games off of teams, and they were scary to play against. They weren't just going to be a free win like their record showed. So it was definitely definitely building the confidence as the league and as the Swiss stage moved on. Corndog, looking at the Swiss stage results, any surprises? Anything that looks a little out of sorts, maybe?
I mean, it it looks pretty good to me. What I was most interested in with this was the Swiss format itself. You know, if you lose 2 games you're going to be playing against a team that has also lost 2 games. So it's not necessarily a traditional format where you have a string of we are the bottom team and we're going to play team 1, 2, 3, and 4 back to back and go 0-4 through the bracket. So I enjoyed the Swiss bracket itself. Surprises, I mean, I guess Rebellion coming in as new people sort of are a surprise on their own, because they hadn't played the whole season, so it's not like everybody knew who they were or how they played. They'd have a couple of exhibition matches, but nothing quite as extensive as the full season. So just the simplicity of the style of bracket was interesting to me, and I think it played out well. KC Cauldron obviously up there in the top on there, as was expected, so not too shocking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see some similarities, right? Of course, from the league play into this Swiss stage bracket. Of course, one of the oddities, I'll even shout out my own team of Timbers Army finishing 7th seed
Absolutely.
in league play and jumping all the way up to the 2 seed due to some tiebreakers, which we won't get into now, of course, now that it is over. And so, of course, what happens now? This was phase 1 of our SGL Cup. And now we're going to move on into phase 2. So the seeding that you see, the 1 through 8, determined your next matchup. So, of course, you saw it on the previous slide, and now you're going to see it here going into the SGL Cup knockout stage. And so those seeds are based on who you played. So the top 4 seeds get a double elimination style upper half of the bracket, while the bottom 4 seeds, the 5 through 8 seeds, only got 1 life. So their backs were already up against the wall. And of course, what you guys can kind of read through what kind of happened here. Um, I guess I'll start with kind of some oddities. I'll even say my team. I think just going into the 2 seed, being super confident. That series against Emerald City RC in that first round was actually super close. I think the goal differential was 4 goals. They were all very low scoring games, high defense. Um, but of course, Emerald City RC getting that sweep and building their confidence, of course, getting all the way to our final where we are now. But then also Timbers Army going down to that losers round 2, playing the Rebellion. And as you mentioned, I think both Palace and Cordog mentioned that, yeah, the Rebellion are a really good team, joining us for the Swiss stage and, of course, the knockout stage. So they made it all the way to the losers bracket final. Unfortunately, they were the ones that got swapped by KC, which of course set up our match today. But once again, we'll just keep it flowing with any surprises from you, Palace.
Um, I'll be completely honest. The Rebellion, just like you said, we knew, especially after getting knocked out by them in the Swiss, that they were a good team. But um, seeing them make it all the way to lower finals, they have, for those of you who have never seen them play, they have an incredibly frustrating play style to play against. It's very fun to watch, but to play against, it's horrific because they are the definition of physical. For those of you who have been around here for a long time, y'all know what I'm about to say. It's like old Kansas City on steroids. It's horrendous to play against. So, um, it's very nice to see them terrorize somebody else that's not us, i.e., the rest of the bracket. But I mean, the Cauldron is it's just that good, and that's why they're here right now. So shout out to the Rebellion, and shout out to the locals as well for making top 4 as well. Huge shouts to everybody involved.
Yeah, the story that the Rebellion have is unbelievable, and over the course of the Swiss stage and the knockout stage, we've had interviews with them after games and everything like that, and their team camaraderie is incredible. Going over replay review and getting a lot of game time in, and really showing that just if you stick together and kind of work through the kinks, that they went from Swiss, they were 2-2, so they had those 2 losses and kind of changing some things here and there, and of course they ended up going top 3, which is absolutely incredible. Corn Dog, anything stand out to you in the knockout stage rounds?
Um, just, it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention that KC Cauldron was not at full strength when they lost to Emerald City. and they still put up a fight. So that 2-4 is pretty indicative to me that it's going to be a challenge. Now, that game was played on central servers, so it's going to be a matter of, can ECRC take full advantage of home court here, because that little bit of ping difference at this level of gameplay is going to make a big deal. So if we get the bracket reset, if KC Cauldron wins this first best of 7 and we reset, I think it's all hands, abandoned ship.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Karn Dog, and it's something that we will bring up over the course of the stream. Of course, those upper bracket teams did have 2 lives, so KC Cauldron coming down into the lowers final, and then of course coming back up, means that if KC Cauldron win this first best of 7 that we have, we will be playing another best of 7 right after this as a bracket reset to determine the champion. So if ECRC wins the first best of 7, we're done. They are the champions. Congrats to them. If Cauldron win the first best of 7, then we're going to do it all over again for another best of 7. And of course, we will keep reminding you throughout the stream as that goes on. But yeah, that's how we got here. ECRC and KC Cauldron, the 1 seed versus a 3 seed. And I think it's time to just kind of look forward into the coming match that we have before you, the final. Wow, what a season it has been. And honestly, looking back just over the course of the entire season, these might be the 2 best teams that we've had. And so I think this final is really indicative of the 2 best teams in the entire SGL league going head to head. And of course, they played each other multiple times before, and KC Cauldron coming out on top in league play, and then of course in the Swiss stage. But of course, when it comes to this knockout stage, ECRC did get the nod, as you saw on that last slide, to move up into the grand final first. So we'll start with Corndog first. Corndog, do you have any kind of keys for maybe either team to maybe get ahead?
So my perspective for this matchup comes heavily from the ECRC side of the field, and what that's gonna entail is control, establish possession early, and take away possession from KC Cauldron. I've been spending a lot of time with Guy Giverson here recently, but KC Cauldron is dangerous when they get moving, especially at full strength. I've seen enough of them dominate teams that they can put you on the back foot, and there is no coming back from that. They get the ball over you, they get it past you, you get a little bit demoralized, you're not quite as quick. So ECRC needs to start early, stay going. And if they lose game 1, delete it and move on. And I know that's going to be difficult. I know Spanky's ready to go. I haven't spoke with Toad Death too much recently. I know Smashly's ready to go, so I will assume Toad Death is ready to go. But it is going to be all about early control, early possession, early dominance from ECRC, and not leaving those classic open nets that ECRC tends to do from time to time.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think we've come to know KC Cauldron, and I've said this multiple times on multiple broadcasts with them, that they control the boost a lot of the time. It is, whenever you look at a KC player, you see them all with 80 plus boosts, and I wish I had the ball chasing stats in front of me to show you just like the time spent with 75 plus boost, because it's absurdly high. And so if they can establish that boost game, KC Cauldron, then ECRC are going to have a difficult time defending those attacks. Palace, is there anything that stands out to you from either team to maybe get the first game and first win under the belt?
I think for ECRC, what they need to do, you have to get pressure on the Cauldron, which is easier said than done. But you cannot let them have the ball uncontested for more than a split second, because you know what they will do to you. Everybody in this stream knows how scary this team is. And so you cannot allow them an inch, because they will take 7 miles. So I think that's going to be the key for Emerald City. I think for the Cauldron, I'll be honest, I don't really have much else to say other than play your game. I mean, they have, both of these teams are here because they have an insane amount of chemistry with each other. And I think with KC, if they just stay true to themselves, play the possession, play the boost like Corndog pointed out, then I think they should be able to take, at the very least, this first game. But all the talking is done. We have the teams here in the lobby. And we are about to get going. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand final SGL Cup Season 7. Kansas City versus Emerald City. The winner takes all. Not necessarily in this series if you're on the side of the orange, but we'll get to that later. Here we go. Yef versus Spanky, and Serrano will take it away.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolutely high-powered match. This ball's actually just going to kind of stall out the midfield to start. Maybe game one is a little bit nervy, and I think that kind of errs on the side of ECRC in a way, because maybe, you know, KC just trying to warm up still a little bit and trying to, you know, feel how ECRC are going to play, and those lower scoring games are definitely going to favor the side of ECRC with their known defense just being so good. And of course we know that the offense for KC Cauldron is really, really good, as they're going to start out on the front foot, as Yef is going to start us off 35 seconds in.
Yef gets the demo and is lurking in the midfield. He's going to put that away every single day. You got to wonder, what are they going to do to combat that? Because immediate right off the bat, Toad Death is known for his demos, but right now that's being used against them.
Yeah, we all know that coveted ECRC playstyle, getting lots of demos, and there's Toad getting one right on cue, but Spanky didn't have the boost to get the shot on target. And so it'll be KC and Serrano, the hot hand, if you will, for KC. Serrano averaging a ton of goals per game against Cheeky Prophet's going to get a beautiful save from Toad. But yeah, I think if you're KC, definitely want to watch out for all the players. I think they're all super mechanical. But Serrano had the hot hand in the last series. We'll see if he can get on the score sheet this time around, as KC Cauldron continue on the attack.
Bump from Smashley denies Cheeky Prophet and forces him to go off of the backboard. Now Yef back into the middle. Spanky clear out to Toad Death, doesn't make it there though. Now Serrano up with Spanky, who has no boost left in the tank, and Serrano will turn back to go to the Buddy's backflip. Now that allows Toad Death on the backboard. Smashley's there. The ball's still floating up there. Toad Death waiting for his teammate. Spanky coming in. Spanky puts the shot, but Prophet is the one to deny them for now and keep this one in the favor of the Cauldron.
Yeah, we don't really talk a lot about the Cauldron's defense, right? We talk about their mechanics and their offensive ability, but their defense is just as good. You just never really see it because they're always on offense, always the one scoring. And I think that was definitely highlighted in their 4-0 sweep against the Rebellion in the lower bracket final. But once again, I think kind of the later stages of that series was just all the offense. And I vaguely remember one of those games in the series going a lot of goals to the KC side compared to the Rebellion side, as Serrano's going to double the lead for KC, and that's a good start. That's what you want for KC. He's, like I said, the hot hand. He was the one scoring a lot of the goals back in that last series, and so to get him on the score sheet early is definitely a danger for ECRC.
The mere presence of Serrano right there was enough to make Smashley panic. No boost, had to go for it. He didn't really, because Serrano didn't have a ton of boost there, but once again, just when your presence is enough to make defenses jump, that is a huge advantage in and of itself.
Absolutely. Is you get to really see any real good chances from ECRC other than that Toad Death upper 90 save from Cheeky Prophet. And I think part of it has to do with the second man not really committing as far forward, right? And we know Spanky is a very deep third man. He'll kind of command the back line, and any counterattacks he can kind of destroy in the making. But Toad and Smashley definitely have to be on the same page as first and second, mainly first and second man, as there's going to be a double commit out from Spanky and Smashley. It's going to leave Toad Death in kind of an awkward spot, as Yef is going to go up. Can he get it by Toad? No. And they're going to clear it out in the end, but you don't want to see ECRC just kind of stay back and kind of hover. But of course, it's going to be Serrano doubling his goal total and giving another insurance goal for KC.
What an assist from Prophet right here, by the way. Just off the side corner wall. I don't even know what to call that. Off the corner double tap. Might have even been a triple. I don't even know. But just, man, KC looks on right now.
Yeah, and this is what we know KC to be, the offensive machine that they are. And so it's worrisome from ECRC giving up 3 goals in game 1. I'd like to think that they start slow in series. I think we've seen that from time to time with them. Especially with the offensive side, but giving up 3 goals in game 1 is a little bit concerning if you are an ECRC fan. Is once again KC Cauldron are gonna just clear this out, and like I said, other than that one real chance from Toe Death that was saved by Cheeky Prophet, there hasn't been a lot of offense going for ECRC. So that is also concerning, as Serrano's gonna put another one on target. Spanky with a really good save. He had to get up quick because Serrano was right there to follow it.
A little bit of a panic jump, and it works out. I'm kidding. That was not panicky at all. Composure to the maximum from Spanky right there. But is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. That's his 3rd save of this game. But Kansas City have really been the ones to set the tone both on offense and on defense. Now, it looks like ECRC is really starting to get their defense on track, like on the same page, which is great to see for the rest of the series. But right now, it is not going to be enough for them to take this game, as the Cauldron will take a commanding 1-0 lead. I shouldn't say a commanding 1-0 lead, but a 1-0 lead after a commanding performance. That's rather what excuse me, chat, I misspoke.
Yeah, I think there's no other way to put it. It was absolutely dominating from the offensive end from KC. We're going to kick it over to Corndog, who's kind of been analyzing the gameplay from the sideline. Corndog, do you have any thoughts about KC Cauldron's attack or ECRC's defense?
Yeah, I'm down here on the sidelines, and exactly what I feared for ECRC is exactly what happened. We had that early start, that right off the bat goal, and then Casey made it up 2 by halftime. From there and slightly before, we saw ECRC scrambling, Smashley bumping Toad into position instead of using his words like a big boy. We had Spanky trying to get back to things he didn't think he was going to have to get back to. It was kind of a mess, but most importantly, Cheeky Prophet leading the Cauldron there in the last minute, had 2 assists out of the 3 goals, 3 saves and 4 shots, which was the most until Serrano got a couple more there at the end. So it's just exactly what we were talking about. KC coming out strong, and like Rydog mentioned in game, we're talking about ECR maybe starting out cold, but can they shake game 1 off? Back to you.
I have been kicked out the party as I'm trying to set up the maps. So excuse me for that. Let me join party match real quick. Sorry, chat.
We're also having some issues
that's
from
on me.
some technical difficulties from one of the teams as well. So we're gonna get that sorted out. But I think Corndog put it perfectly, right? It's the perfect start for KC. It was fast. It was they were capitalizing on all the opportunities that they were given, right? And just ECRC just maybe came in with a game plan. I'm not sure what that game plan was, but it just didn't end up working out. And I think they're going to have to make some major adjustments going into this next game. And of course, if you're KC Cauldron, you want to just kind of keep the same thing rolling. As I'm going to...
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be having the technical difficulty lobby reset here.
Yes, we are.
And so it's going to be a mini timeout. And of course, we didn't mention this earlier, but we will now, that both teams are given an extra minute, a timeout in these best of 7s. And so that is for them to kind of reset and kind of do some more of those things. And so both teams actually get kind of a free one here with these technical difficulties here, as we're going to get the teams back into the game momentarily. But yeah, I think Corndog put it best. Fast start for KC. ECRC looking a little lost, and so we'll see what adjustments need to be made going into game 2. Palace, do you have any specific adjustments that ECRC need to make before we get into game 2?
They allowed too much time on the ball for KC. It was exactly what I said in the first or before the game started, that they need to get pressure on them, and that was something that they did not do in especially the early stages of the game. So I understand it's very difficult because you don't want to get stretched out, right? KC's a team that will stretch you out, but you have to find a way to prevent these attacks before they even start, if that makes sense. So whether it's your positioning, whether it is just you, like, you don't even have to go for the ball. You just got to be there. Sometimes that's enough. Like, for example, when Serrano scored that second goal, his being there was enough to make Smashley jump. So if you can force a panicky touch or like a wrong pass, sort of like this, that is exactly what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a clash of playstyles in itself, but even the speed of play as well. You know, ECRC's a lot slower on the ball, very methodical, trying to pass and win 50s and kind of beat your opponent that way. Versus you have KC, which is almost the opposite. Hey, let's play fast. Let's play mechanical. Let's get on the ball and all this sort of stuff. As this net is going to be open, as there's going to be a double commit from ECRC going up top, and Spanky and Toad leaving Smashley with no boost back. He's just going to play it right to Serrano, and once again, we have a lead early for KC.
I think that's what was referred to early on in the stream as a classic ECRC goal. 2 up the field, not the greatest touch from the last back, and unfortunately it does result in a goal. We have seen that be a common theme, but ECRC having a chance just eluded the grasp of Toadeth, who was there for it, and now they find themselves on the ball in their own half. But yeah, just not even wanting to let them get that far as Toadeth collects the ball. Serrano once again will dive in. They are aggressive with it. They do not care, KC. They don't have anything to lose. Backs up against the wall because of the bracket situation, and now that forces an errant pass from Smashley, and the pressure from KC really taking its toll early in game 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's interesting to think, right? Because you have ECRC who have the home server, right? We're playing on US West this first best of 7. And if I'm ECRC, I want to win this first series. I do not want to take the chance on central servers. Frankly, I wouldn't want to play KC potentially 14 games in a row, right? If this goes to 7. As this net is going to be open again, can Serrano get around it? This time he can. It's going to be another open net goal from ECRC, and I think Corndog was the one that brought it up in between, or actually before the series started, is that these open net goals from ECRC, they have to cancel out, but there's been too many already, and KC's up 2-0.
You mentioned potentially 14 games in a row. I'll be honest, if it continues this way, I don't think we're getting 14. Toadeth with a nice little touchdown. Very delicate, had to get that exactly right, and nearly did. But it was met on the goal line, but that's a whiff! And now ECRC with a stroke of luck and a little bit of miscommunication from KC are back in it. The double jump coming out from Serrano instead of the flip, and that is enough. Sometimes one spark is all you need.
Yeah, Smashley from the back just gets a clear on target, and that might be the secret to success if your ECRC has. I say that, and the 1-goal lead is gone. It's back up to 2. As Serrano, the hot hand for KC, just can't stop scoring.
Cheeky Prophet with yet another multiple touch assist on that backboard. That has been his greatest weapon so far in this series. And Serrano, great finish to the top to get that over that last defender.
Once again, KC again on the attack. It is non-stop from them. Cheeky Prophet benefiting from Serrano. He can score, he can pass, he can do it all. That's another 3-goal cushion for KC.
Cheeky Prophet aiming his car to get that boost just before that perfectly weighted pass from Serrano. And just as ECRC thought they had hope, KC is here to squash that. Now Cheeky Prophet again taking it into the corner, up against Toe Death, goes to the ceiling, has one, Serrano in the middle, Demo Spanky, but now Yep coming in, Toe Death with the save, and we will remain at 4-1 for now.
Toad Death onto the side. It's going to be a pinch across, and Toad Death wasn't expecting that by any means, and so it'll be cleared out by KC in the end. Is going to go back as Cheeky Prophet is up. And once again, these jumps from Kansas City, right? Like, they're winning the balls in the midfield. They're doing all these things, and of course, commentator's curse, classic. Spanky's going to find Smashley right in the midfield, and he was kind of wide open. Oh my goodness, it was Serrano, unfortunately, getting a touch. He wanted to hit Yef or Cheeky Prophet going off to the side to pick up that boost and maybe started a counterattack, but Smashley read it really, really well. So the lead is back down to 2, and of course the offense starting up really, really well for ECRC in this game after being shut out in game 1. So we'll see if they can continue it forward. Here goes Toad off the backboard. Can he get a double? No, it's going to be Yep off the backboard and Serrano to clear it out to stall the attack for now.
AC, what will you do now? Do you play time or do you keep going for it? They look like they're going to keep going for it as Prophet with 3 touches off the ground. Unfortunately, his momentum took him over that ball the 3rd time. Otherwise, Yef was there. Now Serrano, 50's one, but nobody's there for that rebound. Bump Spanky off the ball, and now Cheeky Prophet takes it back in. Smashley aware of the danger, and that ball will glide to Toe Death, who takes it up in the middle, but now that ball is bouncing, waiting for someone to collect it to go for ECRC. A lack of communication when Toe Death had the boost, but Spanky couldn't get out of the way in time.
Once again, it's a boost battle, right? You see KC, they all have over 50 boosts, and you look at ECRC and they all have under 50 boosts. And so I think that's a key part of it. And it was one of my key takeaways for this series, that if ECRC are to take games and eventually take the series on KC, they have to control their own boost. They have to make sure they have enough boost on the defense, but also don't waste boost going to the attack, because you're going to need the boost. You're going to need something special to beat KC. And you can only really do that with boost and maybe some demo plays, but we really haven't seen that either, as time's going to wind down. And for ECRC, if they want to get back in this game, they're going to have to do it with time on the clock. As the clock winds down to 0 seconds, it's going to be KC with a 2-0 lead so far. Wow, is this what we expected?
I'll be honest, I expected it to be closer, but what I will say is that, excuse me, sorry. What I will say is that in a game like this, when you don't have boosts a lot of the time, when you do have boosts, you need to use it wisely. It's very easy to get tunnel vision in situations like this. When your back's up against the wall, when you're in a very high pressure situation such as this series. However, you have to be talking to your teammates. You have to understand. You have to be ready to get off the ball when your teammate calls you off of it. For example, that chance when Spanky took the ball away from a Toe Death who had 80 boost and a better look at the goal, that I think was the moment that ECRC lost this game, because they had the momentum. They had the chance. It was just the communication wasn't there. When you have boost, you got to use it wisely against this team, and that was a situation where they didn't, and it cost them.
Yeah, and no timeout, which is very interesting to me, at least. I think going down 2-0 and really offensive, well, I guess maybe in all sides of the ball, ECRC not playing up to the standard that we know them to be. Not calling a timeout is very interesting. But so we're just going to kick it off into game 3. And this game 3 is pivotal, right? KC, if they win, they've got 4 match points to take us to another best of 7. If ECRC win this, they're right back in the series. I know we didn't go to Cauldron during the break, and we'll get to him in a second, because Serrano is just, he's Steph Curry right now. He's hitting everything.
Serrano with the rocket. What contact on that ball. Beautiful bounce pass from Yef. Those are insanely hard to read. Serrano got it perfect right there. That is exquisite.
once again, it's another early goal for KC, and so in these first 3 games, they have started off on the front foot every single time, but that net is going to be open, and Toad Death is going to respond very quickly, which was much needed for ECRC.
It's the classic lack of communication. Serrano, I don't think he let Prophet know that he was coming in for that ball, and as a result, Prophet took it away from him, and that's going to cost him a goal. So, ECRC are back into it yet again, but this is the first time that they have been tied in this series at a score that's not 0-0. So what can they make from here? Serrano takes a 1 flip reset, but can't get the second for that touch over Toad Death. Well, now Smashley lurking in the middle, wanted to get that, couldn't. I will say, great block on the angle from Cheeky Prophet. Made it impossible for Smashley to get that touch towards the goal at the angle that he was at. But Emerald City are back on the ball, but they do seem to throw it away for now. As Cheeky Prophet winds up against Toad Death. Toad Death now in the midfield. Wants to look for a teammate, but he can't find anybody on the map.
Yeah, it's very predictable play style right now from ECRC, and of course, them getting the goal is huge, right? And momentum is so key in Rocket League. I'm certain most of our chatters in Twitch are gonna be Rocket League players to some extent, or at least know the part of the game, or even just generally sports, right? In real life sports, that momentum is so important. And so right now, KC has all the momentum, right? They scored the early goal in this game, in game 3. ECRC got it right back. And we've kind of seen things stall out a little bit, which I think plays into ECRC's favor a little bit, as there's going to be some chaos, as I say that, on the back line. Serrano's going to get a shot. It's going to be easily saved by Toad, but this next goal could determine kind of the tide of this game, whether it's ECRC, can they steal this game 3, or if Kansas City is just going to continue being on a roll.
Game 3 is always, or is almost always, the most important game in any series, whether it's best of 5 or best of 7. And Toad Death, right, there's still nobody there. Cheeky Prophet being able to clear that out for now. Now, yeah, back over to him. Prophet wants a teammate in the middle, but can't find anybody. But yeah, ECRC had some pretty panic-filled moments on the goal line for a little bit there. They were able to weather the storm and turn that into at least having the ball be out of their half of the field, but now having the chance to convert this to an attack, but they can't quite get there. Now, yeah, up the wall. Not the best takeoff from him, but it still works out somehow. Yeah, takes it over Toad Death. Serrano is there to finish it, and it's 2-1. How that has worked is beyond me, but it's not about how it goes in, it's about whether it does or not.
Serrano's averaging at least 2 goals per game in this series so far. Absolutely continuing his unbelievable form against Rebellion in the lower finals last week. So yeah, is that the turning point, right? Is KC just kind of keep their foot on the gas and keep going? Or is ECRC gonna steal it back? Here comes Toad, and as I say that, Toad Death with a powerful shot to the near post after nobody was there on the backboard. Serrano was ready in net, but I don't think he was ready for the speed that Toad Death hit that.
2 minutes left on the clock, and a 1-goal lead is almost never enough against this team, and Toad Death has shown you why. What a beautiful goal. Just perfect off the backboard, right in the perfect spot. Perfect touch on the tip of his car, and that is just gorgeous. Oh, but Serrano with an errant touch out to Spanky. Oh, but he's able to delay just enough so that Cheeky Prophet can get a hand on it. Now Yev coming in with the shot. It's weak. And now Toad Death able to save it pretty easily. Now Prophet will call Serrano off of this. Toad Death looking for the demo, won't find it, but that's okay because Yev was the one who was up to the ball in the other half of the field, and now this ball will kind of trickle out for a little bit and allow ECRC to reset, but for how long? Because Toad Death is able to get that touch. Now Serrano doesn't have anyone in the net. Oh, had that third touch, but unfortunately didn't have the angle.
Yeah, once again, it's a KC onslaught. They want to finish this game in regulation with 30 seconds left. Just looks like ECRC are playing a little bit scared right now. Of course, they've had a few attacks that have looked pretty good, but generally they just looked off. But the next man challenge is just not coming quick enough. And when it is, like right now, Toe Death, that net is open. Can Smash it get back to this? He can, but he's gonna hit it off the post. He didn't have the boost to get around it, but ultimately that has to go in for ECRC. And as his clock ticks down, KC want to once again finish this in regulation. It's stuck in the corner. Cheeky Profit's gonna play this in. If this ball hits the ground, we are gonna have overtime in Game 3, a pivotal overtime.
I'll be honest, I see some in chat talking about, oh, that's a bad miss. I'll be honest, I don't blame him for that, and I'll tell you why. The angle that ball was at was, hold up a minute, because just goes off the stanchion, and now Toe Death brings it in, and he'll get it past everybody, and that's a game for ECRC. 2-1. Beautiful. Smashley has been vindicated, but let me say, I don't blame him at all, because that angle was insanely sharp. And so Toe Death has made it to where it doesn't matter anyways. Beautiful dribble, and honestly, you kind of feel like as soon as that ball got on his hood, it was over from that moment.
Yeah, 100%. It's a fantastic dribble from Toad, and Toad lighting up the scoreboard, absolutely obliterating his team in points, and of course getting the hat trick to steal Game 3. Corndog from the sideline. ECRC take Game 3. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think ECRC definitely kept their defense up in this game. You saw a lot better rotation back to net while still keeping up some physical play and some forward pressure. Kansas City is still faster. They're able to get to the ball first. They're able to get to the ball higher. So ECRC ends up looking for smaller and fewer holes of opportunity against the Kansas City onslaught, as you called it. I have to agree with that completely. Kansas City is just trying to keep possession, keep that ball going at net, and they're waiting for the breakdown or the mistake that opens up the hole versus trying to force it through a tiny hole. And agreed, Toad absolutely huge in this game, taking that hat trick, well deserved.
Yeah, and so maybe that's the key for ECRC. We talk a lot about the Toad Death Smashley combo of just their offense and their passing being so good most of the time, but really it was a lot of solo plays coming out. I don't think there were any assists on the field for ECRC, and it was just all Toad. So maybe going into this Game 4, now you're back in the series, now you've got some momentum, now maybe you just got to unlock Toad, kind of like Casey has with Serrano.
Speaking of Serrano, he collects the ball, wants to take it up the sidewall, looks for Profit in the midfield. Profit coming in, but Smashley well aware and up first. Now, here comes Yef, met by Toe Death. Toe Death, I wonder if you're ECRC, do you just rally behind Toe Death? Do you just try and get the ball to him no matter what? Because right now, he's on.
Yeah, I would. He's the hot hand right now, right? He's the Serrano equivalent, right? Right now, as he's gonna get another one. It's 4 straight goals for Toad, and the tide's starting to shift a little bit in ECRC's favor. It ended up being a miss from Cheeky Profit. Didn't get up in time, and Toad Death says, "Thank you very much." 1-0 ECRC.
Cheeky Profit waited just a little bit too long, as you said, and yeah, Toe Death is going to punish you for that every single time as the ball is left in the midfield. An odd choice, and it does get Yef demoed, and that ball is past both of them. Can Toe Death finish this? Yes, he can. Yef couldn't spawn in time, and that is 2-0. All of a sudden, ECRC are all over them.
It's that man Toad again. It's that man Toad again. I think we found our answer, Palace, that you just have to unlock Toad and get him on the ball as much as I can. Here he goes from the back corner. He's going to fake this one out and do a dribble. Cheeky Profit's there to meet him, but just a mountain of difference for some reason for ECRC is Serrano's going to get a nice stealing shot. It's going to be saved by none other than Toad Death.
Yeah, Toad wants it. See, one thing else about that goal that I would like to point out, they sent 2 on the same wall. That is unheard unheard of. In no world should that work. But with the momentum that they've got right now, of course that's going to work. It makes perfect sense if you know this team.
Absolutely, as Kansas City now looking to respond. Yef is going to get that big Dominus flick over. It's going to be open. He's trying to put it away. He can't. It's going to go wide in the end as Smashley is going to lead the ball and actually go for some demos. There's going to be a team bump that's going to stall any potential KC counterattack for now. But of course, here they come. Cheeky Prophet over to Yef. He gets it down, and that's going to be super awkward for Toad. Nothing he can really do about that. No boost, and ball just going right over top of him. And so Yef is going to get Kansas City right back in this game. So that early onslaught from ECRC on the offensive end, things start to shift back to KC. And of course, like I said, momentum just being a key part in Rocket League. We'll see. The next goal could very much tell how the rest of the series is going to go.
A rare mistake from Toaddeath in this series just over-rotates, and that's why that ball was able to get in behind him. But also, very good placement by Yef. I wanna point that out. I wanna give him his props for that because that was insane. You guys know, yesterday I saw a video, a pitcher in the MLB who threw a 46-mile-an-hour fastball, and well, I don't even know if you could call it a fastball at that point, but it struck the batter out because it was such a change of pace of what you're used to, and I'm wondering if that is that kind of goal. Like sometimes there's a shot that's just so slow that it works out. I think that was one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. It was super awkward, right? It was super slow and definitely a change of pace, like you mentioned. It that's actually kind of a perfect segue because right now KC are really upping the speed of play. It's not necessarily that they didn't have it before. As Toaddeath's gonna get on the end of the pass with Smashy. Can Spanky follow this up? No, Serrano's gonna get back in time, but that's the game that KC wants to play. They want to play fast. They want to play in your face. They want to play these aerial plays. Like I said, it's kind of the opposite for ECRC. It's very slow and methodical, and think about it, but how much that has shifted now that Toaddeath has just been popping off in these last few games.
Yeah, it's an insane change of pace once again for a team like the Cauldron, who are used to playing fast. But right now, Smashley and ECRC, with their patient style of play, are running rampant on them. It looks like this one is going to be tied up unless KC can do something about it.
So Smashley getting on the score sheet and ending that Toaddeath streak of 5 straight goals for them. And I honestly can't remember who scored in game 1, so it could have been more than that. But nonetheless, that's important for Smashley too. Smashley's he's a confidence-driven player, as that ball's just going to be floated off the crossbar. It's just going to hang out in front of the blue end. It's going to be cleared out. But Smashley's a confidence player. If you get him confident, you can't stop him. But right now he's been a little hesitant, been a little scared. But just like that challenge, right? Waiting until it was a little bit too late. So maybe that goal will send his confidence higher. He's going to play this across to Spanky, who's not going to get the touch he wants, but it falls right to the hot hand for ECRC and Toaddeath.
If you're KC, slow down. Slow down. Stop with these panic touches. Stop trying to clear it down the field. Stop trying to do all this mess. Slow it down a little bit because they're used to the fast pace. They are used to the speed now. You have to change it up if you want to beat them because now they've got your number. So it's all about how you respond in game 5. This is the turning point. This is whether we see a champion crown or whether we see a bracket reset. But right now, ECRC are on a roll, and there is nothing KC can do to stop them, it looks like.
Yeah, the offense kind of woke up finally for ECRC after stalling out definitely the first game being shut out, and then starting up with 2 goals in game 2, and then coming out in game 3 and in game 4, showing us that they're the 3 seed for a reason. And so we're going to be level up once this ball hits the ground, as both teams are going to try and keep it up here. But as this ball hits the ground, it's going to be a 2-2 series. And everything that we said in the first 2 games about KC just rolling and rolling and rolling, it kind of means nothing now, as we're back on level terms, and we go now to essentially a best of 3. Corndog any other thoughts from the sideline on this onslaught from ECRC in Game 4?
Yeah, absolutely. ECRC 2 goals in the first minute, both brought to you by Toad. The physical play was up on both teams, but it finally looked like the shoe was on the other foot. KC was looking scrambly. KC was throwing up those double commits. They were trying to get back to the goal, and that was crazy. ECRC didn't score again until the final minute when Toad basically removed their whole team in the same corner for Smashley to put it in. Smashley getting a late one there at the end. But it finally looks like we're starting to see that traditional ECRC we're used to, where Toad and Smashley are connecting. Toad and Smashley are working like pistons in a car, and I'm all for it. 2-2.
Yeah, it's weird. We're gonna jump over to Game 5, and anybody's game, right? Like you saw the onslaught of offense from Casey in those first few games, looking really, really comfortable, thinking, okay, yeah, maybe this is just gonna be a sweep, and we're gonna be done super quick, and then get into that next best of 7. But ECRC have really tweaked some things. You know, maybe it's that like little tactical timeout after that Game 1 that we had, that they just get that like free timeout essentially, and to kind of tweak some things. And ultimately, it looks really, really good. As we're gonna jump over to Aquadome with some grass as we get into Game 5.
Toronto wants to start it out quick, but Smashley once again ready for the danger. But Cheeky Prophet with a nice shot, but Toadeth once again. We're calling his name early. We're calling his name every single play. It seems like he's everywhere. Toronto wanted the pass in the middle. Prophet now up over Smashley. Does he need the second touch? He barrels through Toadeth. 1-0 to the Cauldron, and that is the response that they need right now. That is beautiful. Flip reset 50. See ya later. Barrels right through him like refrigerator Perry for a touchdown.
I want to bring this point back up. You've mentioned that we've said Toad's name a lot, and is it in Casey's best interest to take him off the field, to demo him, bump him, get him out of the way? Maybe it is, because right now he's the guy for ECRC. So of course, if you're a fan of ECRC, you want to get him on the ball just like this for now, as it's going to be challenged out in the midfield. What a bump. It's going to stall at any immediate counterattack for KC, but yeah, maybe that's in Casey's best favor, is to bump him and kind of get him out of sorts.
Someone else's name that we hold up a minute. This might just go straight in. It will. Nobody
How did that go
was
in?
there. Beautiful touch from Smashley. Serrano panicked. He really didn't need to go right there, but I don't think he knew that there was nobody behind him, and that is what ultimately cost him. But as I was saying before, someone else whose name that we've been saying a lot is Cheeky Prophet, and immediately Emerald City have gone to taking him out of the play. That's what they did last game as well. Try to keep him out of the play as much as possible, especially on defense. And Smashley, with that bump in the air, was able to execute that, and that's ultimately what led to that chance for ECRC, got them that first goal. So physical play might be in both teams' best interest, as Toadeth able to clear that one out. Yef back in the middle to Prophet. Prophet with the fake! Will he be able to get it up top? Oh, Yef!
I think Yef saved it. I think Yef saved it. He had the open net. It was a beautiful fake from Cheeky Prophet, and I think Yef was sweeping the net for demos, and it ended up saving it. It's gonna go in anyway for KC after just some panicky touches from ECRC trying to figure out what was going on. But what a crazy sequence of events.
That will count as another save for Toadeth, but ultimately, he did his best, but yes, the momentum was too much. But man, that took a ton of work for KC just to get that into the net, and I feel like that's been, a summary of the last few games. And once again, Smashley looking to take out Cheeky Prophet, couldn't get that touch, and nearly a third for the Cauldron, who are, what was the word? They feel that they are unfortunate to not have a third, but it happens when you run out of boost.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me. Of course, we've talked about Toadeth just kind of commanding ECRC right now. Smashley's got a few goals as well, but we really haven't seen a lot of Spankies. Of course, he's going to get an epic save here after a good shot from KC, but typically you see Spanky as more the glue. Is this net's going to be open for Toad? It is! And so Toad, once again, the offensive spark for ECRC. I don't know if that was a fake challenge from Serrano thinking that Toad would just go, but Toad with the composure to just take it on his car and have a really, the perfect touch, right? A little bit heavy in a way just to get it up the field and then being able to follow it up. And Smashley's gonna get a goal off the kickoff. So the lead that KC had with that just kind of weird series of events goal that they had is completely gone after the 2 quick goals from ECRC.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. What is the word? A flubbed kickoff from Serrano. Now it takes you from being up 2-1 to down 3-2 with 2 minutes left to go, and you could potentially be down 3-2 in this series. And I know Serrano does not want that on his conscience to go for the Cauldron, but just once again, I'll be honest, I don't even remember what happened on the second goal now. KC have got to. Oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say. KC have got to stop overcomplicating things, because Cheeky Prophet overshot the pass to Serrano. Serrano cheated up a little bit too far, you could say, but they've got to stop trying to get a second touch on every single thing that they do. Sometimes you just got to let the ball fall to your teammate and trust him, because that has gotten them in trouble these past 2 games, and it got them in trouble again on that second goal. So honestly, just if you're going to pass it, you don't need all this second, third touch. You just need the ball to get to your teammate before it gets to the other team.
And right now it looks like ECRC aren't the scared team. It's actually KC that are the scared team right now, as Smash is going to try and get around this and play a 50, and Spanky is the third man coming in. But once again, we haven't heard Spanky's name a whole bunch, and we really haven't said it, to be fair. He's typically the glue, right? And I've mentioned this before a little bit earlier on the broadcast, and of course in previous broadcasts as well, as he's the glue. He allows Toad, Death, and Smashy to kind of do what they want. But we just haven't seen that level that we've known Spanky to be. Usually he has 200-300 points from good saves and kind of leading the attack from the back, if you will. We just haven't heard his name too much. And of course we've said a lot of Toad, who is going to eclipse the 600 point mark for the second time in 2 games for ECRC. But as this clock winds down to below 10 seconds, KC have to score with time on the clock. If they want to get it in with the demo on the back, it's not going to do that. And it's going to be ECRC. If this ball drops, it will be ECRC storm back after going down 0-2 in the series to take the 3-2 series lead and put them on match point.
Yeah, y'all got to call a timeout. I don't know what is happening. The first thing on the to-do list for KC should be to call a timeout, because I know Blian said it in chat, and I'm fully in agreement. These, especially like the resets and stuff like that, I understand what you're trying to do, and I respect it. However, you don't need all that. I can't find Neo Tokyo. Oh, there we go, Neo Tokyo. I was looking for Tokyo. That's why. Excuse me. Anyways, I understand. That's how you play. However, You don't need all this fancy BS. You don't need all these fancy mechanics. You need the ball to go in the net. That's what you need. Trust your teammates. That's what you need to do if you're the Cauldron. If you're Emerald City, they've got trust in each other right now. They are clicking. Really, really rallying behind Toad Death, and I love to see that. KC, they look like a shadow of that team from the first 2 games. Like, some kind of switch has been turned, and they need to. I'm genuinely shocked they did not call timeout.
No, they did.
Oh, they did. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, that's what. Okay. So now that they have called the timeout, sorry, we loaded into the lobby. I just assumed that they had, but okay. If you're the Cauldron, take a minute to breathe. Because you've looked panicked. You've looked shaken. You've looked like you don't know what to do. You know, you've had some sparks, but man, just take a breath. Remember who you are. Remember how you got here. Just, I understand that you're looking at the immovable object right in front of you, Toe Death specifically, but you gotta remember it's not just a one-man team. You know, Smashley taking out Cheeky Profit at every single opportunity he can get, keeping him out the game. Like, you have got to look at the entire thing in front of you and just realize that, you know, this is going to be difficult, but it is doable if you talk. That, I think, has been the main issue from what I'm seeing. You know, the errant passes. Like, there's clearly ideas there. They're just not being executed, and I wonder if that's because of miscommunication or because of something else. But whatever it is, the time for talking is over. The time for action is now. What do you have in the tank, Casey? Because it's now or never. Do or die. If ECRC wins this game, they are the SGL Season 7 Cup champions. And if KC can stop team bumping each other on the kickoff, then we will have a Game 7 and the same rules will apply.
Yeah, I'm hoping things worked out for KC, but Spanky, we talked a little bit about him in Game 5 of kind of being the defensive glue. He's going to be the one getting on the score sheet after Serrano didn't have boost. And so Spanky getting the early start for ECRC, and this is exactly what you want. And I agree with everything you said, Palace, during the timeout, that KC just have to go back to being them. I think maybe after those first few goals came in from ECRC in those earlier games, they kind of just forgot who they were, as Cheeky Profit is going to end up setting up Yep. That was an insane double tap. It didn't quite go in, but it popped out right to Yef, who's going to slam it home and get them back on level terms.
Something I didn't say during the break, if you're going to take a second touch, take it towards the net. That was beautiful. Cheeky Profit looking like himself out there once again. And Serrano will take an early shot that forces Toe Death into a save. And now Cheeky Profit will send it back into the middle. Only as far as Yep, though. Smashley is up to meet him, and he will dust him to that ball. As Serrano jumps a little bit early, but the second touch from Smashley a little bit high. And now KC with the opportunity to reset, as Toe Death has been taken out of the game, and now Profit will pass it over to Serrano.
But Smashley, going back to that first challenge that Smashley had, Game 1 and 2, Smashley's not going for that ball. It's the confidence, right? The shot coming in from Smashley again, it's the confidence. Toe Death coming in, it's not going to go in either. It's a good save from KC, but this is a confidence team. When they're confident, they are hard to beat, as you can see coming back from these last 3 games, right? And so it just took a little bit of time to get them to warm up. And so, yeah, if you're KC, you have to stop your own bleeding, right? But you got to start just peppering the net with shots, making ECRC uncomfortable in every single way, because right now they're the ones on the front foot and looking to take this series in the first series and to win the championship now.
KC, something that, hold up a minute, Serrano couldn't find the touch, and now Yef with the tight angle can't squeeze it in, and another chance for KC goes begging. But what I was going to say just a little bit ago is they had that presence in especially the first 2 games where sometimes, like, again, you don't even need to hit the person on the ball. Sometimes you don't even need to go for the ball. Sometimes you don't even need to hit it on net. It just needs to go near, and sometimes that is going to force a panic from the team, as we saw with ECRC with that shot that went just wide from Toe Death. It was a slow shot to the wide of the net, but all 3 for KC went, and sometimes that's what you need. You need something like that, where I know that Yef would have preferred if that had gone straight in, but Cheeky Profit is there. Toe Death, I don't think he realized that Profit was that close. So that is more of what you need. You don't always have to play direct.
And it's funny, right? We've talked about a lot of like Toe Death in these last few games, right? Just popping off with goals and lots of points and yada yada yada. Who's a name you haven't heard at all in those last 3 games? Serrano. You haven't. We talked about him all the time in games 1 and 2 of him scoring all the goals and setting up, his teammates for success. We haven't heard his name at all. It's actually maybe been more Cheeky Prophet. He's going to get a wave dash flip reset. And it's going to give a 2-goal lead to KC. So the bleeding starting to stop for KC as they go back on offense. And maybe it was Serrano in games 1 and 2 that was kind of the hot hand. And maybe now it's shifted towards Cheeky Prophet of, hey, maybe we need to get him the ball and have him kind of be more free flowing and make sure he has boost to be able to have the attack. Because right now he's the one scoring all the goals for KC.
I'll be honest, full respect for Serrano. He's an incredible player. However, the player that I've been looking at for the entirety of this KC series has been Cheeky Prophet. The entire way, from game 1 all the way to now. Because where he goes, so does the game. If he is on and he's doing things like that, KC don't lose. However, if he is being taken out, such as he was in the last few games, and especially in the beginning of this one, KC are on another level, and a beautiful beat from Serrano on that assist to Yef that left it wide open in the middle. The panic flip from Smashley, unfortunately, is not going to do him any favors as the Cauldron take a commanding 4-1 lead in Game 6. This is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, right. Back to the momentum talk, right? And this momentum for KC is just doing them so well as Cheeky Prophet once again wants another. They have a 3-goal lead with 1 minute to go in game 6, but this also bodes well as Serrano. Can he get this one on target? No. Yeah, the Cheeky Prophet, no, it's not going to go in. But the momentum that you gain in this game, whether it's for either team, right? If ECRC can maybe score some late goals, maybe not get the win, but have some offensive pressure, it's going to do you so well going into game 7 as Yef is going to connect on that pass from Cheeky Prophet. It's going to be a good save from Toad, but we'll see what happens in the last 30 seconds. Like, who's the one, on the charge? Because I think I would have to give that team the edge, and right now it's Kansas City.
Absolutely. However, things can change massively in the 50-second reset, and potentially a timeout coming for ECRC. I'm assuming at the very least a timeout is coming. I'd be shocked if there wasn't. However, if you're ECRC, there is a bit of a comfort in this, knowing that you are coming from the upper bracket. You know that you don't necessarily have to take this game. Obviously, you want to close it out right here. But knowing that you have another life to fall back on is a very comforting thought. As are we going to see the timeout come from ECRC? I can't see my Discord.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet, but I wonder if ECRC are sort of in that mindset because they're taking very long to they're taking long to ready up, so I know that they're talking right now. But I think for them, I'll be honest, I still think that ECRC take this game 7. Even what we have seen from the Cauldron in game 6, I think Emerald City at one point, after it was 4-1, I think they've been resetting this whole time. That's what it looked like to me. So like they were kind of putting an attack on, but not really. They were just more focused on keeping the ball out of their net and just damage control at that point. I think at that point, that's indicative of a reset, go next mentality. And I wonder if we'll see the fruits of that in this game 7, because they have not called a timeout. So once again, I will reiterate, if Emerald City win this game, they are the SGL Season 7 Cup champions. However, if the Cauldron win, we go again. Another 7 games, but it all comes down to this. Champions Field as the ball lays in the middle, waiting for somebody to pick it up, and that person will be Cheeky Prophet after like 3 touches from other people, but forget about that.
Yeah, the 2 best words in Rocket League, Game 7, Champions Field, something like that. Right now, KC
Exactly.
looking like the team on attack right now, and so CRC have to go back to their ways. The Smash is going to pick this up and dribble. He's going to win at 50 on Cheeky Prophet. It's going to rotate out and allow Toad Death to come in. Can Spanky get there? No, he's just a little bit too far back. He's going to control this. She's kind of in the middle and really awkward. Not the touch he wanted. I think he wanted that up on the wall. And it's going to allow a shot to come in for Serrano. And Kansas City, just like Game 6, start off hot early. And it's going to be KC getting the lead early. And I think that all comes down to Spanky's touch. He wanted that ball to roll up the wall and kind of control it from there, but it's going to end up bouncing right out to the middle. And Toad was just kind of awkward and not sure what was going on. And of course, KC capitalized on that opportunity. And here they come again. Serrano, he's going to play it to Yef. Yef is not going to get that one on target. And so we start again for KC.
I respect the idea, but on that goal right there, Serrano lurking, waiting patiently for his opportunity. And when he came, I'm sorry, when it came, he did it. I'm never beating the allegations, guys.
But let's see how ECRC respond after that, because they need a goal and they need it now, because their quick responses have generally been pretty good when they do respond, right? When Casey, get up a goal, when Emerald City respond quickly, they tend to use that momentum to kind of carry them through the rest of the game, but it just hasn't come as quick as maybe they'd hoped. There's 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game and it's still 1-0, and frankly there hasn't been a lot going for ECRC on the offensive end, as Spanky's gonna backflip miss that ball, and unfortunately it's not gonna count for anything for Kansas City. But once again, here they come on the attack.
AC didn't trust on the ball in from Cheeky Profit. Now Serrano can't get it to Yef in time. And now Toad Death will collect the boost and a little bit of time for EC to regroup. But man, panicky moments on the goal line as Cheeky Profit just able to get that past. Spanky goes off the ceiling. Toad Death wisely up to meet him because he knows all too well what this man is capable of. Yef calls Serrano off the shot, and now that ball will float into the middle, back into the hands of Cheeky Profit.
It's these touches from ECRC, they're going back to, I hate to say it, the games 1 and 2 ECRC, where they're just throwing the ball down the field. They're not trying to connect with teammates. They're just trying to clear it and then reset, and then clear and reset. But you're down a goal, in game 7, you have to try and keep the ball close and connect with teammates. And unfortunately, I've seen Spanky have a few mishaps a few times as the ball's gonna hit the double post. The double post. KC knows that all too well from IRL from 2015. If you know, you know. And fortunately for them, it actually ends up benefiting them this time on the Rocket League field.
Oy. Let's hope this result, for their sake, let's hope this result doesn't end up the same way. Because right now, they are winning, and it did come, I believe that shot did come at a time where they were winning in that shootout as well. So let's see if they can keep the lead, but they're not going to do it with passes like that, as they're going to allow Smashley that time. Smashley puts it just wide, and now Toad Death collects Yef, flicks it over to Profit. Now Serrano will take the space, but Spanky quickly closes him down on 0 boost.
Yeah, Smashley on that first shot actually was stuck between a cross and a pass, because if you can tell, as Spanky's gonna miss that corner read, and Yef is just gonna tap it in. But yeah, as I was saying, Smashley on that first one wasn't sure if he wanted to shoot it or pass it to Toad. And I wouldn't have put it past him to pass it to Toad there. I think that's the staple ECRC play. Smashley goes up, you think it's going to be a shot, he passes it down to Toad, and pow, they score. But it just ended up going wide, and unfortunately for them, it's going to lead ultimately to a KC goal, and they're going to put another nail, I'm not going to say the nail, but I will say another nail in this first series. Coffin is Serrano trying to find his games 1 and 2 form, and seemingly found it in this game 7 right when Kansas City needed it the most.
I'll say it right now. They put the nail in the coffin, as it looks like we are about to have a second best of 7, barring a miracle, and Cheeky Profit will secure it. 41 seconds left to go, a 4-0 lead. This is insurmountable, but I'm going to use an industry term real quick. regarding the defense and what was happening right there. I'm going to use an industry term real quick. And actually, it applies to this goal from Spanky as well. Bruh.
Yeah, but I mean, well said. I mean, yeah, this game kind of got away from ECRC. Of course, they do have a little bit of hope scoring that one goal with 38 seconds left. I'm actually going to bring in Corn Dog here to talk about kind of these last few games. Maybe game 6 and game 7 is KC have just been on a roll. Corn Dog, do you attribute that to anything in particular, any player, any play style, or is it just KC kind of finding their form again?
So it's feeling a lot like game 1 from KC here. They've gotten back in gear, specifically Cheeky Prophet. It was pointed out multiple times that it's showing up in both of these games here as Yep knocks that one to the side. But it was scrambly ECRC, so many blown opportunities, and I think that the pressure of being down got to them. That streak got broken, maybe the timeout iced the kicker, but ECRC not looking good, and Cheeky Prophet and his team working with him in top form like we saw in game 1 and 2.
Well, the good thing for ECRC is they will have time to reset as we are going to play again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going round 2, baby. I'm very, very excited for this one, but don't go anywhere as we, I believe, are going to take a quick break unless the teams want to get right into it. If they want to get right into it, then fair enough. But if not, we'll take a quick break and then we'll be right back with the second bracket reset.
From what I'm seeing, Palace, I think we're just gonna try and get right into it.
Okay.
And so I think that bodes well for Kansas City, right? Like those last 2 games were all Kansas City. The first 2, it's like a sandwich of good play. Kansas City had the first 2 games. We really thought that was just gonna just sweep it and we'll go next and we'll whatever, all that stuff. And then ECRC battled back in games 3, 4, and 5 and to put them on match point, and they really looked untouchable. And frankly, it was really just Toad who looked untouchable and single-handedly brought them back into this series. And then KC woke up again and said, okay, well, we just got to go back to how we were playing in game 1 and 2. And I think that timeout super helped. So I think it was Thorn Gold, actually, one of the KC sub players for today, at least, was the one that called the timeout. And so he was the one that kind of brought everybody together and said, hey, this is what we need to tweak. This is what we need to change. And it ended up working out super, super well for KC as they ended up winning the first best of 7. So congrats to KC. We're not done yet, folks, but congratulations to KC for getting us to this point, to the bracket reset. And I'm gonna kind of pose a question to the room as we kind of get ready and get the teams in there and everything. Now, at least this sort of game, right? Going to game 7 in the first best of 7, right? This reminds me a lot of the winter major from 2022 in the pros of just every game being played, right? It's got to be fatiguing for these players.
I will say, yes, it is incredibly tiring having to play a second best of 7, especially in a final situation like this. However, this is not the first time that this has happened in SGL history, and history bodes well for the team with the second life in these situations. I think back to season. What was it? I don't even remember. Was it season 2? The first season where we had where we had League 1 and League 2. Las Cinco Doce versus the Minnesota Dark Clouds. That series, Las Cinco Doce had the second life from going through the upper bracket. However, in that first series, Dark Clouds steamrolled them. Like it was 5-1, 4-1. It was horrific. These players have joined up without even Man, no respect for the referee. I'm disgusted. Anyways, steamrolled 4-1 in that first series, but Cinco Doce ended up taking it in 6 in the second series after a wild bounce back. So get ready because we are starting over 0-0 just as it was in the previous series. However, Kansas City is now the blue team as with virtue of them being the higher seed, and they get the central servers. Home turf. Will it prove home field advantage, or will Emerald City be able to take this on a server that they are not as comfortable with? Find out right now as Yef takes the ball. Can't get it past Smashley, but the ball will trickle into the Cauldron half the field.
Yeah, just to reiterate too, just for those continuing viewers, KC is now in the blue. So we had ECRC in the blue in the first best of 7, and now into the second best of 7. They are now orange. So we swapped colors. So if you are rooting for one team, now you have to root for the other color. But yeah, it's well said, right? Like Kansas City have the momentum going in from that last series. They have the home turf. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're ECRC, you have to get this first game. I think this first game is key to just set the tone of the series of say, hey, yeah, we may have lost this best of 7, the first best of 7, but we're still here and we're still ready to go, and we're still playing at a top tier to take this series in the bracket reset.
Absolutely. And I will point this out for the viewers who are wondering, why are we no longer playing on West? Didn't we start this out as the team from the upper bracket gets home field advantage? While that is true, and yes to both of those things, now that everything has evened out, we are now going by seed, and Kansas City is the top seed in the entire league. Therefore, they get home server advantage. Although, to be honest, West and Central, I'm not sure how different it is, but we will see, because it can be very, very difficult. So, Cheeky Prophet taking this full field air dribble, gets one reset. No, I don't even think he got it. He faked it, and that caused Spanky to panic, and he couldn't get up for the save. A team bump coming in. I'm sorry, that was Toe Death. Sorry, Spanky, you caught smoke for no reason. A team bump led to that goal ultimately from KC, and that is not the start you want if you're ECRC.
It comes down to the angle of approach, right? And I talk about this quite a bit with some of my friends and everything when we're playing of, like, if you looked at Toad Death, oh, Cheeky Prophet, no double there, it's going to go off the crossbar, that would have been crazy. But when you look at Toad Death on the goal line, he was parallel to the goal line, right? He wasn't able to jump up and get a powerful clear that he wanted, right? And so it's like, in those moments, those little moments it's what's going to separate these two teams. And of course we saw it, right? Like, Cheeky Prophet got the goal on a situation like that. And so those little things, right? You talk about the little things in soccer, right? Like, you know, which foot do you pass to, and don't play the ball in the middle, but like, can you play it to a teammate, and those sorts of like smaller things. It's the same thing in Rocket League, right? Angle of approach, right? Like boost management, those soft skills are so important. And so right now, KC are leading the battle on those and ultimately leading the game.
I am being reminded in chat that Central servers are indeed bad for West. And now that I think about it, it makes sense, because Central servers are bad for Central, I'll be honest. So
I was going to say, it's about a 20-ish ping difference, I'll say, at least, from West to Central. Is that ball's just going to float in from Serrano? It's going to double the lead for KC.
Serrano from his own goal line. What a touch. The fact that it had the speed to stay, like, I'm sorry, I lost my words. The fact that it had the speed to stay in front of Smashley the entire time without giving him a chance to save it. That is something, especially in a low boost situation like that. So, shout out Serrano.
And Serrano once again.
Awkwardly off the backboard. Yep, that's an open net.
That's gonna go in.
identical start to the series as game 1 in the last one. 3-0 on the scoreboard, just as it was in the previous series.
I hate to just keep bringing this up because I've actually talked with him and he's a lovely person. Spanky has just not had the reads that we're used to seeing tonight. There's been a few uncharacteristic misses, kind of like that one from Smashley, where you just kind of expect him to get anything on it, whether it's a touch or like a big clear or something, but it's just been uncharacteristic from him. And unfortunately, him being kind of the glue of the back line, it's led to some goals for Kansas City as they're going to once again get on the attack. But right now, yeah, we're starting the exact same way, Palace, that we did in the first series. And can ECRC adjust quicker this time?
Can we talk about that save from Toe Death on the other side? That was insane. And another one right here from Smashley. And this is, once again, identical to game 1 in the previous series. You know why? Because, yeah, they gave up 3 goals. Yeah, they didn't end up scoring, as they might get one here, and they will because of Toe Death. But defensive momentum, coming through at the end of game 1 just as it did in the previous one. And now a little bit of spark on offense as well. So we'll see how game 2 turns out, because right now it looks like ECRC are kind of starting to figure it out a little bit. Once again, they never do seem to start off a series well, do they? I don't want to, that sounds harsh to say, but
I think it's true, just looking at just the historical data that we have. And of course we've played them in league play, and we ended up playing them in the knockout stage, and no, we did not play them in the Swiss. But they just start out really slow, and I don't know if like I said, it's more of like a feeler game 1 of every series where they're like, okay, how is this team gonna play, and can we kind of bounce off of that, or what the deal is there. But it's just interesting to see, and I want to get Corndog's take on this after game 1. KC Cauldron starting off really hot like they did last series, Corndog.
Yeah, but we got to remember this is the second series, so it's a matter of my voice changer not being on, but it's also a matter of I'm back down on the sidelines. ECRC just looking scrambly. We're not seeing any control. We're not seeing any pressure, and we're just seeing KC Cauldron do whatever they want. So Toad getting that goal back is a good sign of potentially things to come here, but I don't see them having the same shift that they had in game 3.
Yeah, at least not yet.
It doesn't matter.
At least not yet, right? Of course, it took them 2 full games to figure it out last series, and of course they went on a 3-game rampage in games 3, 4, and 5.
Substitution coming in.
We have it.
Yeah, there's a sub.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be Thorngold in for Serrano. Interesting choice there. I'm not sure what the deal is there, but Palace, in your experience, do you know how this changes things for KC, if it does?
I'll be honest, I don't. Well, we're about to find out. All I know is that Thorngold is very solid, and he has terrorized my team on multiple occasions. I thought Smashley had disconnected there for a second because he was driving in a straight line without any steering or anything like that, but that was calculated. That was just a route back to net.
Pass!
Speaking of routes to net, Toad Death. What a ball from Spanky, by the way. And just, that was perfect. The pace, the power, the height, everything. All Toad Death had to do was just be there. That was beautiful.
But that's the Spanky we know and love. That's the guy that we love to see, and we've seen all season long from ECRC. We just haven't seen it as much as we have like today. We just haven't really seen that level of Spanky, and so maybe this series he can kind of wake up a little bit and provide some of those passing opportunities for ECRCs. There's going to be a little team bump. Is that going to just go in for Toad? It is. And so there's only 1 minute gone, and somehow, some way, ECRC have a 2-goal lead.
You have just mistimed that. But to be fair, that is a very, very awkward shot off the pinch, by the way. like, I'm not going to let that go under the radar. That was nasty. But, yeah, miscommunication on the goal line. I think Yef thought it was a little bit faster than it was and jumped just a little bit too early. But Toadeth, once again, takes the ball on top of his car, and now the Cauldron are the ones who are allowing too much time on the ball. In the past, it has been ECRC, but now, you know, Cauldron looking more like the Cauldron of games, I believe it was 3, 4, and 5, which is not a good sign if you're them.
Yeah, it was games 3, 4, and 5 when Cauldron were trying to figure out what was going on after ECRC just absolutely pummeled them in the last series. And of course, it was part of that was Toadeth just coming alive in those games and scoring, like, I think it was ended up being 6 straight goals for ECRC over the course of those few games. And so, once again, if you're ECRC, you definitely want him to be the spark of the attack. And maybe, can you get Spanky more involved, right? He had that beautiful pass for that first goal. Can he get more involved in the attack and maybe get some more of those passes out to either Smashley or Toadeth?
Another thing that I have noticed is the boost battle. This game is being won by ECRC. That right there was the first time I looked at Thorngold and he had boost. Not that it mattered anyways, because Spanky coming in with the back corner shot. Just beautiful. Great placement, great power, and that's all you need.
And you said it before, Palace. It doesn't matter how it goes in. It just matters that it goes in. And Spanky is really, really good at those little air roll shots, right? Like, he knows, he's one of those players that won't necessarily hit the ball for power. I mean, he definitely has that in his locker, but he's very much a player that will try and hit it with precision, right? He wants to put the ball in a specific spot and will air roll and will move his car in every way possible to do that. And you saw it on the pass to Toadeth for the first goal, and you saw it on the shot there. He put that, I think it ended up going off of the post, off of the back post, and maybe it wasn't the hardest shot, but once again, it was just played so perfectly. And so ECRC in game 2 here is, oh, what a save from Toadeth. Wow, that net was open. Of course, it was a Smashley that got back in time. Yeah, Smashley getting back in time, but this is, oh, double commit coming out. Can KC take advantage? They will. Yeah, it's going to get them on the board.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much momentum you got. Those happen sometimes. I mean, if you don't communicate, you're conceding. That's just plain and simple. Doesn't matter how much of a roll you're on. Doesn't matter whatever you're doing. If you're getting in each other's ways, that's never a good sign. That will never lead to good things. However, sometimes it doesn't really matter, because 120 left in this game. Let's see what KC have left in the tank, because, well, I mean, they don't have a lot of boost, but they have a lot of spirit. We're about to see, because, yep, well, that's a demo. Oh, but Cheeky Prophet got taken out on the play. Thorngold can't make contact on it, and that might be the chance to get them back in the game that goes awry, but Thorngold's still keeping it in. Now Toadeth. His man up the field is taken out, and his man behind him is taken out. And now it's a 2v2 in the back corner. Yep, over to Cheeky Prophet, but the pass doesn't connect as Smashley spawns just in time to get in the way of that, and Spanky will take this. Honestly, they don't even need to play a goal. Oh, what a save! And now the net's open. Thorngold, will he beat it? Toadeth in a race? Yes, he will. And now we've got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. What a block from Yef. And Thorngold had just enough momentum and just enough boost to beat out Toadeth for that goal. That is... Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 25 seconds.
25 seconds, 1-goal game. Honestly, I'm not sure why Smashley ended up going for that. You're up 2 with about 20 seconds left. You see both of your teammates in the net, in the opposing net. Not sure why. It doesn't matter how good of a scoring chance it is. I would have just hung back, kind of secured the game, but I think that demo from Toad and that win from Toad is going to seal this game as it hits the floor, and ECRC make the necessary adjustments a little bit earlier than they did in the last series, and we're going to be knotted up at 1 apiece. Corndog, ECRC taking game 2.
Yeah, and the sub coming in cold, if you drop an ice cube into a deep fryer, it will cause bubbles to happen, is the best way to put it. But as we saw, coming up to the final seconds of this game, Cauldron had their stuff together. They were able to get 2 unanswered goals from that 3-goal lead.
Yeah, it's a good point. And so they had the momentum, of course, a little bit going into this next game. Of course, ECRC are going to be buzzing after that one as well. Palace, talk to me a little bit about Thorn Gold, at least from this one game, right? We have a small sample size of kind of what he's brought to the table, but do you see that being something that's going to help KC maybe break the deadlock here, or maybe give them more of an advantage moving forward later in the series?
I think now that he's more into it and now that he's, up to speed in the series, I think that is going to help in this game, but he can't start out as slow as he did last game. Last game, he was, especially in the very beginning of that game, every time I saw him, he was low boost. Every time that he was near the ball, it was a miss. And so he needs to exactly like that. That is gorgeous from Thorngold. That is the start that I need to see from him, and that is more of what I'm used to. He got a goal in that last game, and he got some defensive points as well. But right here, just that perfect first touch, able to set up Cheeky Prophet. Yet again, he's just everywhere, by the way. But that is what I expect to see from Thorngold.
I've been muted this whole time. That's hysterical. Kansas City, yeah, taking the early lead once again. I feel like we've said that quite a bit over the course of time. Is once they step on the gas, Kansas City. Once they step on the gas, they just keep their foot down. And so Cheeky Prophet with a beautiful read off the back wall, kind of corner area, and yeah, it's gonna double the lead for KC.
Beautiful read and beautiful touch to go along with it. That is exquisite. Thorngold. Now, reads Spanky, but nobody unfortunately is there to collect that second ball. Now Cheeky Prophet takes it to the sidewall, gets it over Toe Death. Now he's feeling more confident. We were critiquing those extra flip resets earlier, but this one, it does work out at least for the play, and yeah, he's really starting to feel it yet again, which is what I like to see. But this one, he's going to be met by Smashley, and there was a second defender. Toe Death was also with him, so if Smashley didn't get that, then Toe Death was sure to as well.
I think the key for ECRC, and we saw this in their game wins in the last best of 7, games 3, 4, and 5, and even in game 2 this series, which was they're reading Kansas City's first touch and where it's going. And what a pitch that is from Toe. It's not going to go on target, but it had a lot of pace to it. It's Kansas City like to keep the ball and do a lot of solo plays. But yourself, can you read where those first touches are going to go and steal those shots, right? Like we saw Smashley on Forbidden Temple all the way back in game 2 of the last series, of him being like just. There was a pass, I think it was Serrano, ended up air dribbling it into the middle. But Smashley was right there on the other side of it and ended up scoring on the play. And so it's those kind of opportunities that you want more from ECRC, because that's how you're going to score. So there's going to be Spanky. It's on a one-on-one with Thorngold, and Spanky continuing his offensive presence in this second best of 7 with a goal.
Spanky taking advantage of Thorngold's backwards momentum to barrel that ball straight through him. And now we have made this a game because, ladies and gentlemen, this is identical to game 2 of that earlier. I'm sorry, game 3 of the last series where KC took an early 2-0 lead and then ECRC came back and just scored a ton unanswered. So now that they've cracked the bottle, we'll see what they can do from this point forward. Now, Yef will take it back into the middle, but it will only go as far as Spanky. Nobody on KC has boost. Toadeth, oh, but the shot from Smashley just high. And now Yef will take it to the corner, and nobody in the middle for ECRC. Means this attack will fizzle out, but only just for a second, as Spanky will technically put that on target. Thorngold can't get that second touch to guide it past Smashley, or at least misdirect him. And this ball just waiting to be taken in the corner. Now Cheeky Prophet over Smashley, but gets bumped for his efforts. And Cheeky Prophet wants the pass into Thorngold, but oh, now he's overcomplicated a little bit because he took the ball away from Thorngold. And yeah, I don't think he did. So
yeah, I looked up briefly and they didn't have boost, and so that pass back was going to be a little weird anyway. But we just know KC being really well, or really good at boost management, and so seeing them, of course now they all have boost, but just seeing them with no boost, having multiple players with no boost more or less, is very odd to see.
Thorngold, oh, what a touch past that defender. Can he get it back into the middle? Spanky there to clear the danger. Only as far as Yef. Yef can't get the pinch that he quite wanted. And Toadeth will barrel it past too. Now Thorngold with the touch. Can Toadeth get that touch? No. Cheeky Prophet just able to save KC from danger, but only for a little bit, because now 2 in the same spot on the backward. Smashley up high for it. But Cheeky Prophet well aware of that danger and is able to clear the ball and kill a little bit more time for KC.
Yeah, 22 seconds left. Yef is going to go off the backward. Can he get the double? He can! And Yef, with 19 seconds left in game 3, might have just put the nail in the coffin to give KC the lead in the series.
Yef, take a bow. The recovery from that first touch, he was so high. And just getting to that second ball alone in and of itself is enough. And oh, that is beautiful. Unfortunately, that does not go in. And I don't think that was as beautiful as I thought it was. But you know what? I'm still going to give you credit. Because KC, it looks like, are going to roll to a 2-1 series advantage, as that will do it. Thorngold wants one for the road. Smashley says, But great response from KC and Thorngold specifically in this game.
Yeah, we highlighted him being the sub, right, coming in maybe a little bit cold, but definitely showing up when it matters most. You'll see him on the bottom of the leaderboard, but it really doesn't matter. He's kind of all over the place, maybe not necessarily getting all of the points. But I also want to throw this to Corndog and get his thoughts on the matter. Corndog, Cauldron taking a commanding game 3, and ECRC not able to replicate the offensive onslaught that they had in game 2.
Yeah, and at this point, I think we're just going to end up seeing more of the same. KC Cauldron have established themselves with a sub. They didn't even give up the first game. They're up 2 games here. I think ECRC is going to be feeling the pressure. They're going to be scrambling. They're going to be trying to do crazy stuff, different stuff, trying to make something happen. But right now, they just can't get the ball cleanly past Cauldron, and when they do, they don't capitalize. So I'm just going to continue my original prediction from Series 2 here. It's going to be a 4-0 Kansas City sweep. I don't see a way out for EC.
Well, Corndog, it won't be a 4-0 sweep. It'll be a 4-1 at the minimum, because
They did give up the game 1?
Yeah, they did get game 2, but
Game 2.
yeah, it's weird to see the offense stall out so quickly, and maybe that's credit to KC in their adjustments that they made internally after that game 2 loss. And so game 4, super critical for both teams. Of course, Kansas City can go on match point with a win in this game, And of course, if ECRC wins, then we're back to the 2-2, and then we go to basically a best of 3 for the rest of the way.
This series looking not quite the same. Hold up a minute, because that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. I hope that ECRC can look past that, because that can be so tilting beyond belief. Please, ECRC, look past that, reset, start over. It's 0-0.
It wouldn't be a series without a Smashly own goal, and if you know that reference, you know that you've maybe watched an ECRC stream or two. And so now we've officially had the last checkbox we needed for this series to be official. Is a Smashly own goal. So yeah, it's unfortunate that they go down like this early in Game 3. Of course, they probably, or Game 4 rather, they probably made some adjustments after that Game 3 loss, but of course that early goal given up, and by the way of the own goal, is just deflating in a way. Yeah, so Palace, I really hope that they can bounce back from this and establish their offense.
Absolutely, because once again, they had some momentum going in, like in that last game. But that's not the way you want to do it. As Thorengold is gonna put this one into an open net. Good Lord, that was more panicky than it needed to be, but it works. It doesn't matter how it goes in, it just matters that it does. But y'all are scaring me for a second. Everybody on this field needs to take a chill pill. Alright, everybody relax. Alright, I understand the circumstances. I understand the storyline. Take a breath, guys. Because, good Lord.
But it's got to be the fatigue, right? Like, I think that definitely has something to do with it, right? You went 7 games in the last series, right? That's the maximum amount, right? You're going back and forth in this series. Like, we could easily go 7 here. And so, absolutely, yeah, the fatigue sets in, and it's funny, I wanted to talk to Smashly about that a little bit earlier this week, and I didn't get the chance to, about how they were kind of prepping for that, because I think it's different, right? And of course, this isn't pro level, right? But the pros talk about it a whole bunch of, like, yeah, you have to, like, mentally stay in it for the entire time and keep the level as high as it can, right? We've seen ECRC, and of course, the games 3, 4, and 5 is that own goal almost got reciprocated from Cheeky Profit. But you have to keep that same level going forward, and obviously when you just play and play and play and make adjustments after adjustments and everything, it's hard to do that.
Absolutely, because honest, it can get difficult even after 14 hours into a ranked grind. Much less, this is for a trophy. This is for the league, and it's just on a completely different level. I've been here in this before, not as a player. Like, I wasn't even playing. I was coaching my team, and 11 games deep into a bracket reset, we were dying. Like, mentally, physically, it just feels like sometimes it feels like at any point, if there's a change of momentum, that like you've given up all you have in the tank. Which, by the way, so inches away from Smashly, but you feel like you've given all in the tank, and so sometimes it feels like any adjustment can be it for you, but you have to keep going, because this series is not over, not by a long shot. We saw the way that ECRC bounced back in that first series, but they need to reset. They need to take, I'll be honest, if it continues on this way, y'all need to take a timeout after this one. Take a breath and reevaluate. Do exactly what you did in the last series, because when y'all got clicking in games 3, 4, and 5, y'all were unstoppable. So you need that same type of energy, that same type of momentum, and you need it now.
I think part of that has to do with the second man, and I mentioned it a little bit in the last series, of the second man being super hesitant, right? Like Toad just being super patient, and of course that's kind of the nature of their play style, right? As Ashley's gonna pre-jump this. Is this prime G2? It's not. But it's the second man, right? They're just so like waiting for KC to get their final touch and then saying, okay, then I'll go for this. It's like, no, you need to go and challenge and make play just super awkward for them, because you're basically just playing to KC's hands. And so, you know, we've seen that now in this game 4, where KC have just done the things that they've wanted to do. There hasn't been any disruptions from ECRC. There's been a few decent chances, right? Smashley hit the post, and a few other ones as well, but it's really just been all KC.
Absolutely. ECRC, I'm gonna give you all the same talk. By the way, Thorin Gold in the top corner, 63. Wait a minute. This is my opportunity. 63 miles an hour on the bangersonly.com radar. Shout out Alan Panda Ring Woo. We love him. We miss him. Anyways, ECRC. I'm gonna give you all the talk right now. Same talk that I gave to what's the other team's name? The Cauldron. I'm even tired. Good lord. I'm gonna give you all the same talk that I gave the Cauldron during their timeout, because, guys, I understand the situation. This is dire. It's dire just as it was for KC in that first series when they looked like they were on the brink of defeat. Well, now you are. Now you're in the same spot that they were. What are you gonna do? Are you guys gonna get that pressure like you normally would? Are y'all gonna actually go for it, or are y'all going to? Yeah, I'm on it. But are y'all just gonna let them sit back and walk all over you, or are you gonna go for it? You guys need to disrupt. That was the name of the game. That was how it all got started. That momentum. You need 3 in a row. You've already got 3 in a row in this series. Now what you need right here is that spark again. And that first spark came with disruption. Not letting them do the things that they want to. Bumping Cheeky Profit out of the game. You know, taking them out on their chances. Forcing them to do these panic flip resets and these unnecessary touches that were messing up their game. Right now, you're allowing them to play borderline unimpeded. You guys need to step it up on defense, but at the same time, you can't get stressed out. I know it's a weird like what's the word? I don't even know.
It's a weird balance, right?
Yes.
You have to try and balance it, and it's so hard to do that, especially with all the pressure that you mentioned, Palace. Like, there's a lot on the line, right? This is for a cup. But at the same time, do you want to be known as the team that went for it and lost and said, hey, you know, we got outshot, the game, you know, the final game was 4-5 and we just couldn't get anything going, or like we just couldn't, you know, score enough goals? Or do you want to be the team that loses 4-0 and say, well, yeah, we were focusing on defense the entire time and didn't get anything going on offense? And I hate to say it, if I'm going to lose, I want to go out swinging. Right? If you're going to strike out in baseball, you want to do it swinging, because at least you tried, instead of just sitting there going, oh, I don't know what's going on, right? And so I'm hoping ECRC can kind of take that approach that you mentioned, Palace, and put it into action and go out swinging.
Absolutely. And here's your opportunity if you're ECRC, because KC once again has a new lineup. And there we go. There's something on the goal line that prevented Thorin Gold from being able to get that touch and clear it out. But yeah, new lineup for KC. You know, the chemistry, well, you've established a rhythm in the last few games, and now that rhythm is about to change since Toronto is back in and Yef has gone out. So you need to, at this point, you got to throw whatever you can to the wall and just see what sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're ECRC, you want to get an early goal to kind of establish yourself in this game. And of course, no timeouts taken, which is interesting. And I don't know if they think they know they have them, right? KC used one last game, and so they should know that they have one. But once again, it's interesting. It's an interesting approach from ECRC. They just want to get into it and you know, maybe they feel like they know the adjustments they need to make and will do them in this game without taking a timeout. Is Toad that's going to try and play it to himself off the sidewall, and Smashy is going to get beat on this, and it's going to force Spanking to a really awkward play, who actually does really well in the end and gets a bump. Once again, it's a little bit panicky from ECRC, as Cheeky Prophet's not going for musty air dribbles in the midfield.
Yeah, I think if he just goes with the normal air roll shot there, that has a much better chance of going in the net. But Serrano, wanted that redirect, misses by pixels. Now Cheeky Prophet with a shot to that far post goes just off the outside. And once again, the ball is flying in the midfield, waiting for someone to claim it. And that person will be Cheeky Prophet, who takes it down only as far as Spanky. Toe death there, though. Serrano waiting patiently, but Thorngold, I don't think he knew the net was open. And Spanky, as a result, has time to get to that ball and clear it out. But man, that could have been disastrous for ECRC, but they have been granted a second lease at life with 2:17 to go in Game 5. If KC win this, they are the champions. If ECRC win this, we keep going.
Yeah, once again, it's a little bit panicky right now from ECRC. I think there's some double commits, some whips, some interesting plays, if you will. And is that net open? It is. Cheeky Prophet's going to get back in time, though. But you can tell the pressure's getting to them as Smash is going to play this across. It's going to sneak in a little change up, and Toad is going to play a beautiful ball across. He's going to win it in the corner by 2. Thorngold thought he had the angle covered, and Smashly, maybe not super confident, didn't hit it that hard, only 29 miles an hour. But once again, we've said it before and we'll say it again. It doesn't matter how it goes in. It just matters that it goes in. And it's going to be ECRC on the board first in this pivotal Game 5.
And KC, up to this point, will feel a little bit hard done by because they've had a few golden chances that they have just not taken. But credit to ECRC, specifically Toe Death on that play, because he does it so well. Hold up a minute, because that's a pinch, but Spanky privy to the danger and gets that ball out of danger for the time being. But credit to Toe Death on that play, because what he does so well is he makes you think that you're good to challenge. Like, makes you, especially on the backboard like that, he makes you think you're secure, and then at the last moment, that's when he'll, like, he's got that angle covered the entire time. He knows dang well when you're gonna bite, and he knows how to beat you. So props to him for that, because now 50 seconds left, and ECRC, honestly, 1 goal might be enough to do it in this game. We're about to find out, but Toe Death waits patiently for Prophet to bite, and bite he does. Now, Spanky keeps that ball in the offensive half, and Serrano will clear it just over Toe Death, but only to Smashly. Smashly has now been taken off the field, though, and Cheeky Prophet will wait, but Toe Death had gathered just enough boost to be able to get to that ball before, I believe that was Thorngold.
Yeah, and I want to go back to what you said about Toad, because I feel like that's just the epitome of his playstyle. He uses that Masamune really well of, hey, I think I can beat Toad to this, and then all of a sudden he beats you from, like, and you have no idea why. And so Toe Death, once again, being the facilitator this time in Game 5, and this ball dies, which it's going to stay up. Cheeky Prophet, ECRC have to kill this ball, and they do. It'll be Toe Death who kills it. And so Smashly, the benefactor of Toad Death's past. And yeah, you said it, Palace. 1 goal is all they need to win Game 5. I want to kick it one more time to Corndog. Corndog, it fairly weird game, right? It was 1-0, a very defensive and midfield battle. Who does that if the rest of the series plays out like this, who does that benefit more?
I mean, the Cauldron are experimenting with stuff right now. They're 1 game away from a win here. They still have to lose 2 to give it away. So I feel like throwing in that sub back, kicking Yef out, or Yef stepping out, however it went down, to let Serrano, Thorngold, and the other guy play. The one guy, he hasn't done much this whole time. But no, I think mixing up that team chemistry with Cheeky Prophet put them in a different rhythm. It was still only a 1-goal game. So absolutely still dominant performance from the Cauldron. It was said in chat that if they can just sub in and out players like this and still win, then I need to rethink what I'm doing. So shout out to Moo for that one. But I'd also like to point out there were not a lot of musty flip reset half-cap mochachinos in this game as there were in the other games.
Yeah, it's a very interesting observation. conversation, Corn Dog, that you bring that up because yeah, we know KC being very individual on the attack, right? There are a lot of solo plays. Hey, we're gonna beat you with our mechanics, and you know we've said this again. The contrast of playstyles of ECRC being very team oriented and passing and all that sort of stuff, and then you have of course the opposite of KC being very individualistic and all of that sort of stuff. Is Cheeky Prophet's going to get the party started for KC with an attack? Will be nothing, no goals to show for it yet, but yeah, we're in game 6, and of course we'll say it again, ECRC need to win this to take us to a game 7, but if KC win, they are the champions. So here we go.
Now Spanky with the touch. Cheeky Prophet just beats out attackers to keep this at a 0-0. I don't know what green I'm looking at, chat, but good lord.
This game has been weird to start. This series has been real. Oh my gosh, what a moon flick from Smashley, but Spanky's the only one with boost on the back wall. He's going to get a read. It's not going to be great in the end, but Smashley's going to be able to recover in time. And so no goals to show for it. And like I said, I think these low-scoring games are actually going to favor ECRC. You know, just looking back on series that we've played with them, being Timbers Army, of just all of those games are going to be low-scoring. And right now, Yep is going to get the party started for real this time for KC, as Cheeky Prophet's going to play this off the backboard and starts hunting the last man back. And Yep says, thank you, I'll just play it to the other corner.
Yeah. What a hunt from... I'm sorry, was that Cheeky Prophet?
Yeah, it was Prophet, yeah.
Good lord, because, I mean, that's the only reason that shot goes in. You know, great shot from Yef, but man, the foresight from Prophet to go hunting right there, that is just... Honestly,
it's good play.
Sometimes that can be the difference maker in times like this. You need a little spark of creativity, and Cheeky Prophet has been the definition of creativity in both of these series. But
Yeah,
Toadette, what a save from Yef! Can Spanky get the shot past Prophet? No! Prophet with the side flip to keep this at 1-0 for now. But here comes Smashley. Oh, but 2 go! Prophet only as far as Toadette though. Toadette puts it down, but nobody's there for ECRC. Spanky couldn't get there in time, and now Prophet wanted to get a flip reset past Smashley, but took it straight into him.
And you talk about the creativity from Cheeky Prophet, but how about the creativity from ECRC going with the pass there? Here comes another one. Toe Death on the pass from Spanky. Thorn Gold gets back in time. And so ECRC will feel very hard done by after 2 absolutely insane pass plays are just saved off the line by Kansas City.
And a scary moment right there, as that back pass could have turned to catastrophe. But fortunately for them, it works out as Prophet goes to the ceiling. But Yef with the shot off the crossbar doesn't quite pan out, and Thorn Gold will take it back and will reset the attack. But man, this game has really started to open up on both sides. This ball is going to drop straight down. Toadette reads it, but so does Prophet.
The defense from this game from Kansas City is unbelievable. I mean, we talk about their offense so much just because of their mechanics and as Corndog puts it, their cappuccino, frappuccino, mocha, double shot espressos, but it's
with
their
no
defense.
foam.
Oh, no foam. Can't have foam here. But it's their defense right now that has been just lights out.
Thorngold couldn't quite turn around in time to beat Toadette, but now Yef will collect, and oh, that's an over rotation. That might just go in. 2-0. 86 seconds left on the clock. Is that it? 1 over rotation is all it takes. That
Smashley, I don't know if he knew he was last back, because Spanky was coming in from the side, and yeah, I don't think Smashley knew he was back, and so I think it was, who's that, Thorngold, who just popped it right over the last defender, and it was an open net. And so yeah, KC have a 2-goal lead, and right now with how their defense is playing, as EF gets a beautiful fake on one ECRC oncoming attacker, but yeah, with how this game is going, never mind. I'm gonna stop that sentence, because Smashley had just brought ECRC back into this game. after Cheeky Prophet with a rare miss from him and a really tight angle from Smashly.
The composure in a situation like this, 62 seconds left, you've just reduced the lead to 1 with an out of this world shot. Props to you, Smashly, because he's proving that it is not all doom and gloom as some would like to make it out to be, but Smashly couldn't get that touch. About 45 seconds left. Cheeky Prophet looking to kill this one, gets the musty, but can't get it quite over Spanky, and we keep going.
30 seconds left. ECRC have to score to keep their series hopes alive. It's going to be Toad to Smashly! The combo comes in at the perfect time! Toad Death with a beautiful air triple pinch off the backboard to Smashly! But that's what I've been saying this whole time for ECRC. They just have to anticipate that pass coming in. And when they do, their offense is unstoppable.
Now, oh my gosh, almost the third, but Yef just able to get it down. Smashly knew what he was
there
doing.
it is!
Oh, God! Bar down! 3-2. Are we going to see Champions Field?
Unbelievable comeback from ECRC.
Oy. Corndog hit it too.
As someone who watches ECRC all the time, and I know Corndog can relate to this absolutely, that is the ECRC we love to see every single time. If they can do that every single time, they would be undoubtedly the best team in the league with no questions. We wouldn't go to 7 games. We wouldn't go to a reset. They would sweep everybody. But it's when they just like get scared and everything like that. That's when things go awry. And Palace, against everything, we're going the distance. We're going all 14 games.
Oy. Good Lord. I don't
I'm
even
in
know what to
shock
say
right now. I really don't either. Like this is unbelievable.
We
Corn
thought
Dog,
it was over at 2-0.
we sure did. And that's why I want to get Corn Dog's thoughts, because we're kind of out of breath over here. Corn Dog, do you have any words for this?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with potential fatigue coming in from KC Cauldron. Maybe started celebrating at the finish line kind of a moment there, because that was not characteristic. Also, like you said, the standard ECRC, the classic ECRC moves just suddenly started happening out of nowhere. I called scripted in the chat, and I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I mean, after game 4, right, KC goes up 3-1, and we're thinking it's done. Yep, Palace, you were the one that said that just now. Like, we're thinking it's done. And all of a sudden, ECRC, they get the 1-0 momentum, equalizer. And then in this game 6, they get all the momentum in the second half of the game. And all of a sudden, we're going to Champions Field. We're playing all 14 games. And honestly, if somebody said this before the series, if somebody said, hey, you're going 7 games both times, I would have said, yep, that checks out. These two teams will go back and forth the entire time. That makes sense. But the way that ECRC are doing it now is just unbelievable.
Champions Field for a second time, but there are no stipulations in this one. This is it. Winner take all. Game 14. Holy cow.
I wish we would play. I wish both teams could play just like more games, because like this is, I mean, they would still go back and forth. So maybe I don't, but like it's so hard to separate these two teams right now. Of course, going game 7 the first time, and then the second time, now we're in game 7. This is crazy.
Trap them in a dark chamber and make them continue duking it out for our pleasure.
Toad Death gets a bump. Oh, Smashly just, I don't know if he had the boost or not, but didn't get the right touch on it. I think if you're KC, you want Thorn Gold to get on the score sheet, which is exactly what happens. I was gonna say you want Cheeky Prophet on the ball with boost, which is exactly what happened here. Cheeky Prophet opts for the pass, and Thorn Gold was ready, and KC takes the lead early in game 1 or game 7.
I don't even know if I could call that alert. That's just great positioning from Thorngold, great patience, great execution, great everything, but it's going to go right back the other way as he misread. I don't think he anticipated that ball going off the ceiling.
It's one of those plays, this play, yeah, where the ball goes up and it just floats up there for so long that you think it's going to hit the ceiling, or maybe you don't think it's going to hit the ceiling, and it does the exact opposite of what you think. And Toad read that perfectly. It came straight down. Yef didn't get the read off the backboard. And so, yeah, we're back on level terms, and back and forth we go.
Immediate response. Immediate.
And there it is
7
again.
seconds. And it only took 7 more seconds to get them in front. This game has changed in the span of 17 seconds. We've gone from 1-0 to 2-1.
I'm speechless. Like, I don't even know what to say. This is unbelievable from both teams, really. Just punch after punch after punch, and just having the mental to do that, right? Especially ECRC, right? You go down 3-1 in the series, your backs are really up against the wall, and you have to come out swinging. And they end up bringing us to Game 7, going down in Game 7, and then bringing it back, and now they're winning as Spanky is winning a 50. Can he get back to this? No, Cheeky Prophet is gonna get back in time. But yeah, if you're KC to get back in this game, you have to unlock Cheeky Prophet. He is the guy for KC, and you need to get him on the ball ASAP.
We said it earlier, where he goes, so does the game. And right now, he's been in, but not quite the same level of lethal as he was before. Now, something that I'm wondering about, and hold up a minute, because there we go, that's going to be in! Thorngold to Prophet, and we're tied once again. You know what, I'll save that hypothetical for later. Honestly, we might not even need it. But what a pass, 3-man passing play. Beautifully weighted from Yef, over to Thorngold, over to Prophet, bing, bang, boom, we're done. 2-2.
Once again, it's another counter, like it's another punch. It's
Wait,
Smashley
wait.
and Spanky. Oh no!
Oh, wait.
Oh no! Smashley
Oh.
played this, and he tried to play it to the left-hand side of the goal. It wasn't going in, I don't think, and Spanky probably thought it was. Got a touch. It goes right in the middle to Thorngold, who just taps it in. And I was just about to say, it's a right hook from ECRC, then it's a left hook from KC, and then here's another left hook from KC, and now will we see a right hook response from ECRC? We got it's just now halftime, and I couldn't tell what's going. I have no idea how the rest of this game is going to play out.
It's a slugfest right now, but who will deliver the uppercut to the chin? Right now, Cheeky Prophet gets that past Smashley. Yef couldn't quite find the angle, and Prophet wisely waits that one out in the midfield. Yef gets that. Oh, Smashley couldn't get to it, but Toadeth is back to collect that ball. And all of KC left the net for Thorngold. Wait, but that ball's still in the middle for Toadeth. Toadeth can't quite steer it on target, and we keep going. Cheeky Prophet over to Thorngold. Yef has the shot. Can Thorngold get the bump on Toadeth? Not quite. And ECRC survives, but only for a moment, as that ball makes it through 2 somehow. And yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication, a little bit of a lull in play allows for KC to escape for now.
KC are playing super close together, which is making it really hard for ECRC to do anything offensively. When they 50 out the first man, there's another KC person right there to win it. Cheeky Prophet and Thorngold are going to double commit for this. It's going to leave Yef back in an awkward situation, but Smashley just rushes the play, and all of ECRC were up the field thinking he was gonna hit it, but luckily for them, nobody from KC was ready, as Yef is going to come in and play this. But there's 1 minute left in ECRC. Can they come back again like they did in Game 6 to tie us up in Game 7?
Yef, 0 boost. Now has the full. Wants the wave dash. Oh, Thorngold was waiting in the middle, but unfortunately he got a little bit impatient, and the ball waited a little bit too long to come over to him. So now that ball will streak across the middle. 30 seconds left. What do you have left in the tank, ECRC? There's a pass in the middle. Spanky will come over, but won't quite find the touch. And now the ball floundering in the middle. Spanky on no boost. Neither is Thorngold. But at this point, you gotta go. Cheeky Prophet over to the corner. Will he finish this off with a corner double tap? No, he can't. Spanky gets it past one. But the ball will drop, and the Cauldron will take the bracket reset to become your SGL Season 7 Cup champions, doing the double.
I'm lost for words for that. I'm lost for words. That was unbelievable performance from both teams. Right? We said it a little bit before. ECRC going down 3-1 and coming back and taking us to Game 7 was just incredible in itself. And then you had the resilience from the Cauldron of losing those 2 games and being in Game 7 just basically down and out, and coming back and winning the Game 7 when it matters most. And so congratulations to KC Cauldron. They played unbelievable. And obviously I want to give massive shout outs as well to ECRC for not giving up in that bracket reset and taking us to Game 7. That's what a crazy series. I don't know if I can put any more words on it.
Just, I want everybody in chat just to give us, real quick, round of applause for both teams. Round of applause. Put your love in chat for both of these teams.
Yeah, let's get some hearts going. Let's get some GGs. Let's get everything, because yeah.
What a series, man. That is an all-time SGL classic right there.
That has to be that has to be one of the best series of all time in this league. I know I'm new, but that absolutely has to be.
We've seen reverse sweeps, but we've never seen a bracket reset go the distance before. Just props to both. Shout out to everybody involved, everybody who played. You know, very well played from ECRC, but very well played as well to your champions, the KC Cauldron. They had the fresh legs, and honestly, what I was going to ask when they went down 2-1, I was going to ask about the substitution. You know, what was the decision to substitute when they're up 3-1? But man, they've somehow squeaked it out. Somehow. And so, props to them, but man, what a series. And especially to ECRC, because those 3 players went all 14 games. So, good lord.
Yeah, this is absurd. Absurd series, and we're going to welcome in Serrano here in a moment from KC to get his thoughts on the game. Serrano, first off, congratulations on winning the SGL Season 7 Cup. You guys were phenomenal throughout the entire season, let alone this tournament. I think the first question that everybody's wondering is, you guys just played all 14 games that were allotted to you guys in the grand final. Talk to me about if you guys have felt worried at all during either one of the best of sevens, and how you guys managed the mental of playing all 14 games.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, of course we were worried like a little bit, because Game 7 I'll just start with the first series. When we went up, what was it, 2-0, and then we lost Game 1. We're like, whatever. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We were like, okay, whatever, it's a fluke. And then Game 2 happened. We're like, oops, sorry. We gotta lock in now. They're starting to gain momentum. And then Game 3, we're like, well, personally, I thought, damn, we could really lose this series and it'll just be over. But then, Thoringold, who was sitting at the time, he came in and gave us some pointers, told us to just chill out, calm down, And so we switched up our game plan, won Game 6, and then took that going into Game 7. And we're like, oh, we're going the distance, and we can really win this thing, reset the bracket, yada, yada, yada. So we did, and then Series 2 happened. I'm like, okay, Thor should probably play because, I was starting to cool off a little bit. I was playing like trash. And then he came in, they took Game 1, and we're like, all right, I'm gonna just sit, let him play, let him win this thing, and then what was it, game 2 where ECRC won, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, they won that, and so nobody was worried yet, and then they go up 3-1. Well, not they, sorry. Our team goes up 3-1, and then I'm like, yo, Yef, let me play the final game. Let me close them out. And we didn't, because, again, I play like trash. And so I'm like, okay,
Hey,
that's when
I
I
like the
put, I'm done
confidence.
now. Wait, what's up? I'm sorry, David.
I like the confidence, but keep going.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't close them out in game, what is that, 5? And so I'm like, okay, I'm done for real this time. They need to play. They need to gel together. They need to win, you know? And so it goes to game 6, and then in game 7, and in my head, I'm like, yo, we really might lose. And then, we score first in game 7. I'm happy. Then it gets tied, and I'm sad again, or not sad. I'm concerned. And then we take the lead and win it all, and then I'm happy. So I just did a whole lot of talking. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's what this interview is. It's for you to yap. Except that wasn't. I wouldn't call someone telling the story of how they just won the league yapping, but we ball because my question for you is, yeah, so what was the decision at 3-1 up to substitute, because they had a good flow going, and I was a little bit worried, come game 6. I was like, guys, what was going on? Do you think that somewhat disrupted the flow, or what was the thought process? Because like I get it, the oh my god, what's his name? I'd rather go. Nah, you know what? I'm not gonna.
Bro,
I'd rather go over 30 than over 9.
bro.
No, but here's the thing: you had like, especially in the first few games of that first series, you popped off. But anyways, back to the question. Um, yeah, what was the decision to substitute at 3-1 up in that second series?
In the second series, I don't know. Yef kind of pitched the idea. He's like, "Yo, Serrano, you want to come in play this one?" And I'm like, "Sure." And it was more of a me thing because I'm like, "Yeah, I want to close these guys out. I haven't played ECRC in ages. Let me put them to bed." And I didn't. You saw it was a 1-0 game. I was just in there whiffing the ball. I had what, like 96 points after like 4 minutes. Because I was ice cold after sitting for, what was it, 4 games, I guess? No, 3. Yeah, 3 games. It was just the me wanting to play thing when I shouldn't have.
It's very valid though. It worked out in the end.
Yeah, thankfully. Because if we lost, then it would have probably been my fault.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. Cause are you the only player out there for this team?
No.
Exactly. So, anyways, speaking of players on this team, Cheeky Prophet, man, what a series he had. I want you, I guess, to kind of talk us through, um, especially in those games where he was like popping off. Were you guys centering your gameplay around him, or what? I guess was the plan for tonight, or
Um,
did you have one?
I don't know if there's necessarily like a plan. It was just if he was able to put the ball in the net, let him do it. You know what I mean? Or like if he just happens to be the one that touched the ball and it goes in, it is what it is. Kind of like how I was in, like, what was it, games 1, 2, and
Yeah.
3, I guess, of the first series. I just happened to be the one hitting the ball in the net. That was it. There's no real plan.
Yeah, fair enough. You guys played one heck of a game. Serrano, is it true that you have to go to work?
Yes.
Is that a true statement? All right. Well, we're gonna give you the floor now, so you can head off and celebrate your victory at work. But we want to give you the floor first if you have any shout outs.
Um, Shout out my team, man, because I know a lot of series this season I was not able to play in because I had to go to work and all that, and they stepped up and just played lights out. 8-1 regular season, and then most of the tournament they played and won until the final few series. I got to finally play. But yeah, shout out them, man. Goats, all of them.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
Serrano, once again, congratulations on the win. We'll let you go to work, but yeah, have yourself a good night and celebrate accordingly.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
peace out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. GG's ECRC. Pleasure to play y'all again, and catch y'all in the next one. Au revoir.
And now we're going to bring in, also from Kansas City Cauldron, Captain Yef. Yef, of course, congratulations on the win. I guess just briefly overview your emotions right now.
Right now, just trying to relax a little bit. Those games were a little bit stressful. I mean, 50-50 pretty much throughout the entire series. We did what, 2 game 7s tonight? So a lot of excitement, but definitely stressful on our side.
I guess my question for you is, after game 5 in that first series, what was said in the timeout? Because you guys came out looking like a different beast
Yeah,
in
I
that
mean,
game 6.
so basically, I think Serrano kind of hit on it, but Thorengold was in our comms, and he was like, "Guys, let's take a timeout. Let's take a breather." I got up personally. I had to freaking pee, so took a step away, got out of the chair for a minute, kind of shook out the nerves, came back, and we just kind of reset our mentality and got back to work.
Yeah, and you mentioned it yourself, right? Both series were best of sevens. You guys went to distance. I guess Serrano touched on it from his point of view, but I guess briefly from your point of view, how does the fatigue settle in, and maybe when did it settle in, if it did settle in, right? Because I mentioned it on the broadcast of, I just specifically remember the winter major from a few years ago for the professionals where G2 was playing Queso, and that went the distance. And you can tell, like, Queso was just fatigued. They just came from the lower bracket. They won the bracket reset in 7 games, and then that next series went to 7 games as well. And of course, they weren't. G2 came out on top. But I guess so. Talk to me a little bit about the fatigue and how that kind of affects your play.
Yeah, so I think one thing that actually helps the Cauldron quite a bit throughout the season is we have a pretty deep roster. We have a 6-man squad, pretty interchangeable. Any of us 6 can field and play the game. So like that helps with fatigue throughout the season. Tonight was a little rough. As you guys heard, Toronto has to wake up, play, and go to work. And then Cheeky and I are getting off a full day's work, and myself, I'm in the middle of packing to move on Saturday. So kind of a long day. It's what, 11:45 here. We're kind of ready to go to bed. That's pretty much the hardest part, is staying up this late to play a West Coast based team. But throughout the games, it was more just, we start to lack on our comms, and then one of us would call that out, and we'd pick that back up, and we'd get back into a groove. So really, it was, we just started getting quieter, and had to kind of shake it off and be intentional about our communication.
Sorry, I had something to say and then I stuttered. But yeah, I think, yeah, my question for you is, you were on Demon Time in that second series. You know, well, I mean, let's be real. You were on Demon Time in both series, but especially in that second series, you getting more goals and stuff like that. Was there like a change in your mind, or like, what was there an adjustment in, I guess, your head of what your role was going to be, or were you, what, I guess, kind of take me through your mindset in series 1 versus the mindset in series 2, because we did see you on the score sheet a lot more often.
Yeah, I mean, so like, if you guys think back, I think 2-3 seasons ago when ECRC joined the league, They very quickly, I think they might have even won the cup or the season that season. And so we've kind of had a battle between our two teams. Smashley and I talk a lot of smack to each other in one-on-one chats, and as well as just in the general public chats as well. So I think that's kind of where it kicked in, was that rivalry match, and really wanting to come back and win, especially since I was gone for about 32 days maybe, and couldn't play most of the season, it felt like. So coming back kind of with some vengeance a little bit and just wanting to play, and I missed the game 2 weeks ago when we ended up losing to them in the winners bracket. So kind of getting that mentality, just wanting to come back with a little bit of vengeance, get some goals, win the games, and claim that title tonight.
Okay, well, congratulations. I'm going to give you the floor to shout out anything and anyone that you want to, because you have well earned it after this victory.
Yeah, I mean, GG's to all the Cauldron guys tonight. Definitely it's helpful having a sub, having Thor kind of sitting on the bench for the first um, for the first series. Serrano's putting in chat. Let's, I guess, shout out Peter Vermes. I don't know
Oh,
why
God.
he didn't decide to make the subs. We did. But yeah, shout out to our whole squad and the depth that we have throughout the season. But then shout out, I guess, to ECRC. Well fought tonight, a lot of games. Did not expect us to go to all 14 games, but I'm glad they were close and kind of brought a show tonight. So
Absolutely. We'll enjoy it. Congratulations once again to you, Yef, and to the entirety of the Cauldron. Go celebrate with a drink, some sleep, whatever you choose to partake in. Be safe and
I'm
have a
going to
great rest of
crawl
the night.
right into bed. You guys have a good one.
You as
Yeah,
well.
Thanks for joining us, Yef. Yeah, congrats again. Yeah, they deserve it. They deserve the rest. I mean, that was an absolute insane series from KC, and yeah, once again, congrats to them. And yeah, I guess we'll shout out the Peter Vermees as well for having a subpar team this year. I don't know. You guys lost to the Timbers in real life, so I don't know what that means because we're terrible. So
We stink. That's what that means.
yeah, something like that. But we are gonna bring in Smashley from ECRC here in a moment just to talk about their perspective of going the distance. And there he is, Smashley. Really hard fought series tonight. I guess I asked everybody the same question. I want to get your perspective on it as well. As obviously this series went all 14 games, which was absurd. Um, like talk to me about like the mental fatigue and how that sets in, when that sets in, if it did, and how you guys kind of adjusted for it.
Smashley, you're muted.
You're muted, my guy.
I know. I didn't want you to hear me. I think for me, I think it's just hard to stay focused after playing that long. And I played most of the day today too. I was playing on. I played on like both my my breaks. I played on my lunch today. I logged in like right at 5, and it was just like running games and doing training packs and things. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake, just playing for 6 hours, but particularly in the second series, it was a little more hard to keep focused. But it was also interesting just playing like a different set of players so often. I think we beat every combination of players that they threw at us, but we were having to adjust to those and, see who they were actually throwing out. I was a bit surprised that, especially in the second series, that they didn't throw out who they ran for. Like, I can't remember if they ran the same players for the entire first series, but like at least like those first 4 or 5, that seemed like their set 3. And I was kind of surprised that they didn't play them when things were getting a little hairy in the second series. But
Smashley, my question for you is, you guys had some incredible sparks of like encouragement, some sparks of energy, and like some incredible streaks in those series where you guys looked unstoppable, especially in the face of some of the odds that you were facing in those series. Like in that first one when you were down 2-0 and all of a sudden you guys come back, win the next three. Same thing in that second series where you guys are down 3-1, take the next two. You know what provide like especially given that fatigue and stuff like that that can be a factor. What was it for you guys that provided those sparks that really transformed the way you guys played?
I think we had a lot of really good 50s. Spanky is very good at 50s as well, and I think a lot of our goals were like pretty much a result of Spanky 50s, and I think he scored a few directly off of 50s. And then you know, Toad's gonna Toad. I don't really know what else to say there.
I guess
Yeah,
in those moments. Oh, sorry. You
no,
can go first.
go for it. Go for it. Go for it. If you have a
In
follow-up.
those moments, I guess, what was your game plan?
We talked between games about trying different things. We and I need to review the ball chasing on it, but we were trying full rotations at times. We were trying different combinations of two of us that would push a little bit more than the third. And they all kind of worked here and there. I think when we hit those 3 wins in a row in the first series, I was mostly just letting Toad and Spanky do their thing. But then Cauldron adjusted to that for game 6 that we lost and for game 7. So when we got into the second series, we mostly went back to the full rotations, but the server actually didn't feel that bad on Central, but we were fighting the server a bit. Toad actually had better ping, so we kind of just told him, go do your thing and we'll adjust to you because you have like the 20 ping. I forget what your question actually was though, Mr. Palace.
No, in those moments, what was kind of your game plan? But I think you summed it up well.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had one more question, and I'm honestly just super blanking on it. But I guess, yeah. I guess we're just. Do you have any more questions for him, Palace? I think we can all go to bed.
Not that I can think of, if I'm being completely honest. My only question for you is, do you have anything to shout out or anything like that? Because the floor is yours. Wait. I lied. I have one more question. Does ECRC come back better and stronger from this?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll be back next year. We were we had a player leave the team 2 days before we played Kansas City during the regular season, and so Spanky, Toad, and I didn't have much prep before that game. And we even almost beat them despite that. But I think if we had more prep time, before that game, and we actually beat Kansas City in that game, we probably take the regular season. We never had to face El Matador, but we weren't ever really worried about El Matador. We watched a bunch of their games. So it really just came down to that one series and having to pivot, last minute, which was a bummer. But then, we thought we'd have a pretty good shot at, a three-peat in the cup. And, I don't know what more when we went 14 games, I don't know what more you can ask for other than maybe a game 14 overtime. As far as the floor, though, I have been harassing so many friends and family and several Discord channels and, several WhatsApp group chats and like people that are in Olympia, Washington here to come and watch our games. Toad is I don't know. Toad and lots of other players I have seen have the chat up and write stuff while they're playing. Spanky and I don't really do that, and I honestly don't really watch the streams back much after I play. But sometimes I do, and I always notice the chat, lighting up with people that I've been harassing to come and watch us play. So just wanted to thank all of those people for the last I don't know how long have we been playing, 3 months. And yeah, hopefully everybody will come back next year as well and watch us. And I'm also excited for Rebellion joining. They I mean, we handled them, but they were very good, and I think that they're going to shock some people next year, being that they haven't played in the league yet. So they're only going to get better too. So next season there's going to be some more competition for us to deal with. So we will have to get better if we want to get back to the final again.
Yeah, well said, 100%. But yeah, Smashy, we're gonna give you the floor as we look to close out the stream and
That's what I
everything.
just
But
did, dog.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well then, Smashley, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, a tough battle tonight, going the distance, and we'll definitely see you in the off season, and I'll probably
Yeah.
talk to you later this week. So.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
For
Smashley.
sure. Well done. And that is going to do it for us here at SGL for Season 7. But thank you guys. First off, before we end off the season, I just want to say thank you so much to every single person who's in chat right now. Every single person who has checked us out over the course of the season, every person who has shown interest. We've had a new team join us, halfway through. Shout out to all the teams who joined us before the season, such as Timber's Army. You guys have made a difference in the community. Obviously, Ride Dog, coming in this season and being a commentator. Every single person involved in this, whether you are a player, whether you are a commentator, whether you're in chat, supporting your teams every single week, whether you're an admin behind the scenes, running the stream, running the games, referees, mods. We don't have mods. I lied. But regardless, whatever your role is in this community, thank you so much, because we wouldn't still be here without you guys. That's just how it is. And so we are incredibly excited to continue to grow as we move to next season, and I am excited to continue this journey along with you guys. So everybody in chat, round of applause for every single person. But I want to give a specific shout out to the only Mazhar, the dude running the stream right now, who's been juggling everything this season. And huge shout out to him. So Maz, it's your turn to have the floor.
Yeah, let's get Maz in here.
Sorry, guys. Thank you. I'm clearly not fit to talk for too long, but I do want to say one short thing real quick. I'm just happy to see so many people participating in the league this season, and for us to see not just a good number of participants, but also good quality Rocket League. We only had one forfeiture this whole season. That's crazy. Never had that before. And I think that shows that not only is there a strong amount of interest, I think we as a league are laying the foundations for the future to potentially keep this going. This started off as something for COVID. Now we're in Season 7. In a full season, with both a league and a cup, we have one forfeiture. That is insane. In my opinion, that is absolutely insane. And I want to see how far this could go. I think there's something really good bubbling in here. When you have something like this that not only gets new people into SGs, but it gets them to a whole new level of participation and involvement. I think this is a great thing to grow supporters culture, and to get more young people involved in our supporters groups in this part of the world. So I want to see how far this goes. And I don't think we could go this far if we don't have people getting involved. So I thank all of you in the chat for being involved. I thank all the players who played throughout the season for being involved. I thank the commentary team here of Rydog, Pals, and Corn Dog for helping us out and getting involved. I want to thank my fellow admins, Luis and Debit, for helping me run the show. For Nestor, who not only started this whole thing, but also still remains around, keeps getting involved. And I want to shout out everyone in the community for sticking around with us and having a good time. I hope you all want to keep going with this because we have something special brewing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Maz. And yeah, at least from my perspective, and I'll kind of close this out here. But yeah, it's been an honor to play in SGL season 7, and to come in with a new supporters group and a new team. And I know we're excited in the off season to get some more players in and hopefully get some more teams rolling into for season 8 when that drops. But yeah, special shout out to everyone. You guys are awesome. Twitch chat, you guys make this happen, and every player. And of course, I'm also going to give Maz a special shout out because he runs the show behind the scenes, and of course the rest of the admins as well for doing all the dirty work behind the scenes. That we just get to show up and play Rocket League, and they do all the heavy lifting. So thank you so much to you guys. But this has been one heck of a season, and I don't think it could have been capped in any other way. We went the absolute distance tonight, going all 14 games. Game 7 in the first series, bracket reset, Game 7 in the second series, and of course KC Cauldron coming out on top. So congratulations to Emerald City RC for a fantastic season and getting up to this point, and of course big congratulations to KC Cauldron for winning the SGL Season 7 Cup. But that is gonna do it for us here in the commentary booth. For Maz behind the scenes, for Palace, my co-commentator, Corndog already left, shout out him, and of course myself being Rydog. Thank you so much again for joining us, and stay tuned for lots of updates for any off-season show matches, and of course when the next season's registration is going to be. Have yourselves a great night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.